We've been doing content creation for a long time, but who inspired us at the beginning to go on this journey? We're going to talk about that today. Plus, what the hell's with these blue check marks and having to pay Twitter to have our tweets seen? Talk about all of this and more on today's podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Nick Tacular.
Hello, I am Reapz, another one of your hosts, and I will be paying $8 to get my checkmark verified on YouTube and part of this podcast.
Hello, I'm Eljay.
Yeah,
I don't pay anything. I refuse. I'm not paying people.
You're going to pay us, all right? Stop it.
I am the cheapest scape of all. The cheapest, I swear.
$8. Come on, it's now
that's it.
$7. $6.99. All right, that's a bargain, LJ.
I
That's a
refuse. I
bargain.
absolutely refuse. All right. I don't even pay full price for Adobe. I don't steal. I have never
Adobe,
pirated.
check into this. Adobe.
Yeah.
I have a rule that I will never pirate anything because I am myself a creator and an artist, and I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I will not pay full price for Adobe because my partner is still technically a student, and we get 80% off.
Oh,
That's
that's nice. That's very good. I'm quite jealous of that. I do like
nice.
put all the Adobe stuff on my tax though. I just sneak it in
Oh,
there.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
sneak it in, but is that
It's not
really the word?
sneaking.
That's what I
it
mean.
counts.
I do it for a living, so right.
Yeah.
Right.
Reapz, I'm gonna tell you a secret. Don't tell anybody. But if
Okay.
you go to pretend to cancel your subscription,
Yeah.
they'll then say, "Hey, we'll give you like a cheaper price for a year." So then you accept the deal, and then when that expires, you just do it again.
Oh, okay. Let me write this down. Everyone should be writing this down at home as well. Adobe Premiere.
I know we said we are going to talk about YouTubers, but can I say that while I appreciate DaVinci is free, and as someone who was a colorist for like 2 years professionally, I also agree that DaVinci is best for coloring and stuff like that. But like, I understand. Yes, get DaVinci if it's free. But I swear to God, anyone who actually says that DaVinci is better than Premiere Pro, what are you smoking? Like, can I be 100% like spot on?
Go for it. You know what? We need a hot take early in the morning. I need to wake up. I need that caffeine, like adrenaline pumping through me. Shoot.
Let's go.
I don't know. I just find it really ridiculous that people honestly believe DaVinci is better than Premiere Pro. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. Go get some of those amazing plugins and support, or that you can dynamic link directly to After Effects, or dynamic link directly to Photoshop, or not Audacity, the Adobe version of it. Like, there's like so many things you can do that are built into it now. I feel like people will try and pretend like DaVinci is this amazing godsend, but just admit it. You just don't want to pay for Adobe Creative Suite, and that's totally fine. But don't pretend it's better.
Yeah, I
It's
must
like people
say.
pretending Avid. No one listening to this knows what Avid is. Not a single person knows.
I
it.
edited
You
on
do?
Avid for 3 years. It's
We had to. It was
terrible.
industry standard, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was
And you know
industry
why it was-
standard. It
You know
was-
why it was industry standard? Was because it was f***ing old people.
Yeah, because that's all they knew how to do. They didn't want to learn a new suite, and it's terrible. Never edit on Avid. Although I'm sure people still use it because of blah 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 blah.
There
But,
are definitely some companies that still use Avid.
yeah.
And thankfully, I didn't have to look at it.
The absolute excitement and giddy in my entire like industry when we found out that Deadpool and Gone Girl were edited on Premiere was shocking. We were so excited. It was like people were willing to now try something new just when they found out about that. And we literally went to like our tutors and stuff because we were in final year of uni. And we're like, so like, can we edit our final films in Premiere where we actually know how to edit and not Avid? And they're like, well, it's not industry standard. You're gonna have to use Avid when you go out into the industry. Motherfuckers, I have never used Avid in the industry once. I swear.
I don't. Okay, I'm going to attach onto this a little bit here. I don't understand the headspace in like the corporate world, for example, where we did a little corporate like production gig, and their like method of communication was a conference call on mobile networks, which it took an hour and a half of constant reconnecting and connecting to be stable. And this entire time, I'm like, this could be solved if everybody just had a Discord account and we hopped into a Discord call.
Or even Zoom, to be honest.
Or even Zoom.
Or I'll throw out a hot take, an email.
I was going to say Skype. Remember Skype when that was?
I do remember Skype. Hey man, MSN.
Yeah,
MSN group
MSN
chat.
message. Oh, dude, those were
The good old Skype days. Skype would have been better. And I don't understand why they just pay money for like conference calling on like a data network or like a mobile network where it's like, just go to Discord. It's free.
It is so free and so much easier.
There's also this other one that Adobe bought called Frame.io. If you're talking about like getting feedback and talking to clients, I don't know if you ever used this. I adore Frame. Frame.io is so good. So essentially like say you send someone a video, right? You could upload it to Frame.io and send it to them, or you can just send it to them and they can upload it to Frame.io. But they can go through the whole video and like write notes, select specific parts on the shot and everything like that. And it is like having a video that's fully notated with timestamps on the screen, everything, everywhere you want it. It's like the absolute best way I've ever received feedback. And nobody uses it except for like me and like 3 people I know. But I love it. I love it so much.
I would use it, but like I don't have the full capability to use it at the moment, to justify the price to subscribe to it.
Yeah.
Doesn't it come within Adobe Creative Cloud?
I have not seen this. Everybody, we're
Does
looking up
it?
very,
maybe I'm
very
paying
viciously.
extra. I don't know. Maybe I'm paying extra.
I
But
might
anyway,
have to look into this.
I don't know. I just wanted to start with that hot take because a lot of people try and push DaVinci Resolve on YouTube because it's free. And I get that. And I tell people if you can't afford stuff, go with DaVinci.
Yeah.
It's not worth spending the price on Premiere yet when you're learning. But I feel like it's just a little bit ridiculous to pretend like DaVinci is better than Premiere Pro, even though you can say Premiere Pro crashes a lot and stuff like that. Yeah, well, it crashes a lot, but DaVinci has way bigger issues of compatibility. So fuck yeah.
I've used DaVinci a lot in the past as well, and I do enjoy it very much. However, the big reason why I never made the switch was because of all the plugins. All the plugins for Premiere are just amazing. You can get some seriously incredible stuff.
For me, it's like the bridge, as we were talking about, Eljay was talking about before. It's like you can import everything from Photoshop, After Effects into one kind of project and work it all out in like just not having to open multiple programs at once. It's just so good. I love it. I do love it.
I had a film that was pretty much like, it was just 90% interview footage, right, for a documentary. And what we had to do was we had to put all these like annotations and little like animations and things like that all over it during it. So like the woman would say something and then it would like animate along the bottom of the screen and stuff like that. And it was such a pain because we didn't want to have to make all the animations, export, and then put them into Premiere Pro and like line them up. And so what I ended up doing was, because I was doing all the animation myself, was I would just create a dynamic link. So essentially you right click on the Premiere clip, create dynamic link. It opens After Effects, makes a new After Effects folder, creates a timeline for it. You do all your work, hit Control S, right? Don't have to export, don't have to do anything. Hit Control S, tab back into Premiere. It updates automatically in Premiere as the new clip there, and then has it all, just has it all there. And if you're like, oh, it's not quite, doesn't quite work, or the director wants to change, tab back to After Effects, make the change, Control S, boom, it's already across on Premiere. It was one of the best things ever. And it can be a little laggy if you don't have a good PC, but at the same time, DaVinci can't do that. So suck my balls.
Yeah. You DaVinci users.
I also find like when you're doing like visual effects stuff, like After Effects is just definitely, it's a lot easier to use because doing node-based stuff in Fusion is can be daunting.
Oh yeah, we don't even talk about the node-based building of Fusion.
Yeah, you gotta put a lot of time and effort into learning that. But yeah, Adobe does a lot to try and make things as user-friendly as possible. DaVinci does to an extent as well. They do try to make it as user-friendly as possible. But just like there's also, I think it's like DaVinci randomly, I think, doesn't support like AVI, which is, like not a huge thing, but it's like sometimes you just have like a random AVI clip or something like that, and DaVinci just goes, nah, I don't know why.
There's nothing worse than media folder not supported or media file not supporting. Like, oh god, now I've got to convert this over to an MP4 and it's frustrating.
I will say though, it is kind of mean of us to not support the Australian company. Because if anyone doesn't know, Blackmagic are an Aussie company. And I will admit I love their cameras to a degree, but at the same time, software-wise,
That took a moment for me to register. Are they really an Australian company?
Blackmagics are Aussies. If you look up like awards and stuff like that, it's like the guy who founded it's like, I think Gary or something like that, and he loves it.
Oh, I didn't realize. Yeah, I didn't realize.
Gary loves it.
Another Gary.
I'm pretty certain they are. Maybe I'm wrong. People can look it up and fact check me. I'm not going to look it up now. But I'm pretty sure they are, because it used to be a whole thing people bragged about constantly. They'd be like, yeah, we've got some of the best cameras ever. And then Sony was like, that's nice.
You are correct. It actually auto-filled on Google. They're based in Melbourne.
Yeah, it's one of the leading brands of camera and equipment and stuff like that is an Aussie company. And then if you think about it in audio as well, Rode is Australian.
Yes, that's true. Rode's great. I've got so much Rode
Aussies
stuff.
out here doing it for the film industry,
which is different.
People like to pretend like we've only got Crocodile Dundee, but no, that's just all you've seen. and Mad Max.
Yeah.
And then look, say what you will about, whether you like Marvel or whatever, but Rising Sun Pictures based in Adelaide. They've done some of the biggest films.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Marvel, Adelaide, about the same level of quality.
Here we go. See, I'm sitting back here.
Oh, I love it. Oof. I love it. I am so sunburned, boys. You can see how red I am, by the way.
What happened? Well, obviously the sun got you, but why?
Can I another hot take straight out the gate? I got to throw it out there. I think everyone loves the beach in their head, right? But the amount you love the beach and how much you want to go to the beach is proportionate to how long you've been away from the beach. Yes. You go to the beach because you're super excited. The next day you're like, that was okay. I don't want to go back though. 6 months later, you're like, why don't I ever go back to the beach? I love the beach. And then you go back to the beach and you're like, I don't want to do this again.
No, it's the sand. It's just like the immense heat. Like, because people go to the beach on hot days, right? And people forget to do the sun cream, or they think that they've done all the sun cream, but they've left the spot, and it's just, it's an effort. It's a big old effort to get there and back.
Yeah.
Commenters, do you like the beach? Tell me that. I want to know if you like the beach. I feel like I'm going to get called out for saying that people don't like the beach. Oh, actually, no. We're on the internet. They're all going to hate the beach, aren't they?
Yeah. They hate the beach. Most of them haven't even seen the beach. Yeah. I would say.
But also, it depends on what kind of beaches you have access to as well. Like if you have access to
we're known for our beaches in Australia. Like that's what people come here for, right?
Oh, go to Brighton Beach. Oh, is there sand? No, it's rocks.
It's
and can you get in the water? No, you can't get in the water because it's runoff and sewers. But yeah, come to Brighton. We've got a beach. All right, UK,
go there.
Settle down.
Do it.
The country that thinks they've got the best fish and chips and they don't even have a beach. Yeah, right.
Oh, God.
Yeah, go throw some vinegar on your chips and pretend like you have a good life over there in the UK, all right? We got it better.
I don't know why anyone would voluntarily go to a beach that is just rocks. And
have you seen the Mr. Bean episode where he goes to a beach and it is just all pebbles and he's trying to change and he realizes the man is blind? Anyway, it's a big thing. But when I saw that, I was like, that's a beach? My dad was like, oh yeah, I remember going to this beach as a kid. My dad's English. And I was like, that's a beach? I thought it was like a rock quarry, you know what I mean? It just didn't look like anything that we know in Australia as a beach.
Don't get me wrong, it's got its own appeal, right? In the sense that it seems like a nice place to walk or do things like that without getting sandy. But it's not a beach. You don't call it a beach. You call it a waterfront, right? It's a bit different. I don't know though, but that's very off topic to what we're supposed to be talking about, isn't it?
Yeah. Sorry about that, everyone. But let's talk about, we'll quickly go over this, I reckon, because I think it is worth noting about how Twitter is monetizing having a verified check mark next to your name and how that could be applied to other avenues or other social media platforms if they follow in Musk's footsteps of
And then we can talk about the YouTube stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay,
indeed.
perfect. Yeah, sure, let's do it. Hit me with it.
Yeah.
So now I need some clarification. Now, is this the blue check mark? Is this for anyone who was going to pay the $8 subscription, or is this the blue check mark is for people who are already verified, but then their check mark becomes blue?
I don't know what the whole thing is. All I know is that Elon Musk has said that people will now have access to having their own blue check mark if you pay X amount per month. So I went on my Twitter and I looked. I don't know if it's different for however many followers you have or where you are in the world. I'm guessing so. But it's $6.99, right? And it gives you benefits where it's obviously you will go up to the top of the comment section. And he says that he's doing this for the fact that it battles trolls, it battles bots because they would never, link their personal credit card information or PayPal information to said Twitter account, right? So then there's this big kind of uproar about the fact that no, you're just doing it because you want more money for Twitter. But now anyone can have a verified check mark next to their name or a variation of the check mark next to their name. But if you don't, then you will apparently not be pushed in the algorithm as much as if you didn't.
It's pay to play, right?
Yes.
It's the idea of paying for a boost in the algorithm, which is just inherently going to create worse content. We all understand that, right?
Yeah,
That's
it's
not a
going
problem.
to be absolutely awful. That's the same as if anybody who subscribes to Twitch Turbo will get pushed up in the directory. Like Twitch's default, instead of being high viewer to low viewer, it just becomes who's paying for Twitch Turbo is at the top, and then they go. Then it's viewer count.
Yeah. Or who's paying for the Twitch Boost, which was a thing, right? Until they got rid of it. So I don't know. I don't know. To me personally, the way I look at Twitter is I've never cared too much about Twitter. It's just more of a way to directly one-to-one interact with my viewers and people who watch me, or like keep up to date with people who I follow. I don't think I follow anyone or interact with people who would probably spend the money, so I don't think it would matter to me.
No, I will say, so it's called Twitter Blue. I could be wrong about the tick next to your name. I could be wrong about that, but it says exclusive member benefits. Now, boys, see if this is worth your $7 a month, all right? A better news reading experience. Discover relevant news and get a better thread reading experience. So that's number one.
Delightful.
Delightful. Number two, early access to select new features. Get early access to some of Twitter's newest features in Twitter Blue Labs. So we don't know what that is, but you can also edit your tweets. So you can do that. If you tweet something out, you can edit it afterwards, because that's always great. Instead of just deleting and retyping it. But custom navigation, add your own shortcuts, choose what appears in your navigation bar, and get quick access to your favorite Twitter destinations. And finally, keep it fresh with updated icons, app icons, exclusive app icons for your device. Choose from several colorful options. So for $7, that is what you're getting per month. Again, Musk has said openly in an open forum that it is to show that you, obviously part of the algorithm, trolls will not put $7 towards their accounts, and anyone who's
we know they would.
Exactly. Anyone who's not using Twitter Blue will be pushed down in terms of, if you reply to a comment, you'll not be seen before those who have Twitter Blue.
It really kind of is setting it up to let trolls have a chance to appear at the top of the algorithm, right?
Exactly.
That's really what it is.
That's what boggled my mind when I watched the video of him saying that. Is like, oh yeah, no, they'll never do it. I was like, no, like they will add people who, like, the trolls will absolutely do that because they want to try and spread whatever the hell they're trying to do. Like, it's just so, like, I don't know. I just feel like it's entirely misguided. Also, the fact that he's also being sued now because not only did he fire the entire board, but he's also fired half of all the employees at Twitter, which is like 3,000 and something.
I heard he gave them a choice to do you've got to work 80 hours a week. Otherwise, we're going to seek new people because we aren't expecting the best at the moment. So he gave them, again, that could be complete hearsay, but I heard that there was kind of yeah, you can stay, of course, but we just need you to do more work, and that would equate to about 80 hours a week.
I think that was just when he came in, he was wanting them to up their workflow, and that people would just end up working that many hours, because there was photos of Twitter employees sleeping in the office trying to meet his deadlines for stuff. It is wild.
I don't know too much about that stuff. I didn't follow it too closely because I'm trying to be more careful with what I absorb, because I find that there's a lot of doom scrolling that happens right now. But one thing I do think is interesting is I've read a lot of articles about SpaceX and Tesla and stuff like that, and how anytime Musk gets more involved in the company, the working experience becomes just far worse for people. There was someone who was like, yeah, he went away for months on end to focus on other stuff, and then came back and, oh, fuck me, it was terrible. Which is funny, right? Because I think a lot of people see him as this humanitarian who's going to change the world and save the world and stuff. And it's well, not really. He's anti-union, anti-worker. You're never going to be a billionaire. You don't need to ride his dick that hard.
He's
call him out for the things that
he's not going to do it.
Yeah. The Tesla batteries weren't him. They're engineers who, he's invested in the company and stuff. But the cool shit doesn't. Honestly, I got a hot take. I think a lot of the coolest shit, and a lot of the reason why we don't have a lot of cool shit from Tesla and from SpaceX, is kind of because of Elon. If you actually think about it, Starlink is sweet, but also, it's one major thing that's been amazing the last few years was putting Starlink in the Ukrainian cities to help them during the infrastructure issues, right? And then he got fucking pissy and started having a go at people on Twitter, and then tried to remove it. And then the backlash and the press was so bad that he was like, oh, I guess I'll leave it. I'll leave it in there.
Oh my God.
It's just funny, isn't it? Because I remember I've never owned a car. I always use car ride share type of apps and stuff like that, because I live quite centrally in Sydney.
Well, Sydney, you're screwed.
I use buses, trains, light rail, all the kind of stuff that's available to us. Ubers as well. And I've always thought, like, as for my first car, I really want to be a Tesla. Like when Teslas were like so cool, you know, like the EVs, and I was like, that looks like so sick. I want me one of those. But now I'm just like, I do want an EV, but I don't want a Tesla, because this man has just persuaded me over all the things that he's done that he really is just kind of looking out for numero uno, but trying to play like he's the cool billionaire who, like, you know, really worries about other people and stuff and is trying to do right by everyone. And it's really not. Like, he's just this confident jerk that is just really like in his own head. Like he's a few steps away from being like Mark Zuckerberg in terms of how oblivious he is to how he's perceived in the world, but he gets more love from people online than Zuckerberg does. So it's just this weird scape at the moment that I'm just like, ugh, gross.
What was a really good thing to do? If you're listening to this and maybe you disagree with us or anything like that, and that's totally fair, you're totally allowed to like Elon Musk. And if you do, I think a really good thing to look up is Elon Musk emeralds, because what it is it's this new feature he's releasing. It's really cool. Go read up on Elon Musk and his emeralds. You'll learn all about it. It's really great, and I think you'll probably continue to disagree with us because he's totally a good person. Elon Musk emeralds, go for it.
I'm gonna look it up right now as well.
I was like, I don't know what this is, so I'm keen to hear that. It's funny though. Speaking of Mark Zuckerberg, the Facebook market share dropped a substantial amount because Xbox boss Phil Spencer was in an interview, and they asked him about like what he thought about the metaverse and like, you know, VR and stuff like that, and he's just like, yeah, no, the metaverse is like an unfinished game. It's just not great. And it just so absolutely shut him down. And then like, yeah, apparently it just that one comment and opinion has just like completely destroyed like a lot of like market share and investment and stuff like that. So
I was going to say, this whole metaverse thing has like dipped tremendously in the past few weeks. $80 billion away from the value of Facebook and Instagram owner Meta. That was on the 26th of October. And again, it could be all, you know, fake news in terms of what I'm reading here, but it's from The Guardian.
Was it really the Microsoft claim? Because like I thought it was already just tanked hard because of all the
it tanked hard, but I'm sure that Phil Spencer also going.
that like added fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
$80 billion.
Do you boys currently have a VR headset?
I do. I've actually got a MetaQuest, which I got from the bloody the BitFest thing.
Yeah. I don't have one. I've always wanted one. The problem is that I feel like I want to build a whole new PC, right? Which I wanted to mainly because I wanted to stream VR. But now in the situation I'm in, I don't really need to worry about it. So I'd literally just be getting VR for my own shits and giggles, to be honest. But the problem is every time I talk to my mates, they're like, I'll get it if you get it. And it's like, okay, well, let's all get it. And none of us are willing to take the dive, to be honest.
Well, it's that worry, isn't it? Because there's always that fear of, it does map out the room. So you've got to be like, this is my thing. And obviously it's got a camera at the very top of it that looks out so you don't bump into anything. But it also means that it is just kind of like, here's my whole house on display. Like everywhere that I go, you've got it. Now, obviously you can say that about your cameras, your phones and everything like that. But we know the lack of privacy when it comes to Facebook in general, and you wonder what information is being told. So I always am very nervous when like I put the Quest headset away and it's facing towards me. So I got to go over and put it like in a box or something so that it never looks out. I don't know why. I mean, that's complete craziness.
You need privacy covers on every single camera on the headset.
Just like,
I do that. I turn my cameras away, and I've got camera covers and stuff like that. So if I'm done on this podcast, I'll turn my camera to face a different direction to the wall.
I use my old lens cap. I put it straight back on there. I'm like,
I've got a teleprompter, so I can't put a lens cap on it without taking the teleprompter off to put it on.
Oh,
so I'm too lazy.
So
I just have to turn the whole thing to the right instead.
That's interesting to talk about as well. A teleprompter, because we were talking about this and how useful it is. Which one do you use for people out there?
I think it's called like a Glide Gear or something like that, A100 or something. And I got it a couple months ago now. And I think it was huge because I used to go from recording like 2,000 word scripts that would take me about an hour because I had to remember them or go over them and stuff like that, to now I can turn a 2,000 word script around in like a 14 minute recording, and the editing time on that is ridiculously shaved because I'm not cutting down an hour's worth of footage that is a bunch of stumbles and stops. I'm literally just cutting out the times where I pause or maybe I cough or like something like that.
Gotcha.
So It's made my editing for Stream Scheme ridiculously fast, but I wouldn't recommend it. And the reason I wouldn't recommend it is because, no offense to people listening to this, I think if you're a new YouTuber or a beginner, you should be trying to force yourself to go off the cuff and practice how you speak. And I think buying a teleprompter, if you're not a fully comfortable presenter and you're not incredibly engaging and stuff like that, all you're doing is setting yourself up to be a bit of a robot.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this because I watched someone who's a small creator who bought one, tried it out, and I watched their video they did with it, and they were way better in the previous videos. They were too robotic in the teleprompter one.
Yeah.
Going on that as well. So I did some tests with that because I'm the same where it's like I write the script and I'll make edits and I'll read it out loud. And then I just find myself just stumbling a lot and having to redo it and then sort of remember like what I said. And, sometimes so you have like a good flowing clip talking to camera, you have to, sort of memorize like a bigger paragraph. So I practiced with just, with a basic teleprompter app and found myself at like, obviously from all my experience with, with streaming and doing some YouTube videos as well, I was able to do it pretty naturally, which led me to end up buying the same one that Eljay has.
Yeah. I think it's like the only one that's worth it, to be honest, in the industry right now. But a really interesting thing about it though, I find, is that it is ridiculously quick. Like it is just like ridiculously quick in cutting down time and energy into it. And I use this app. I think I sent it to Nick as well. I think it's called Teleprompter Pro. It's like $8 or maybe $18 or something like that. You pay it once, and then you can import scripts into it. So I import all my scripts into it, and then I open it up. I put it in the teleprompter. Like you just like place my phone in there. The mirror grabs it, and I press a little play button, right? And it doesn't scroll. No, a microphone turns on, and it scrolls matching the words that I say. So it won't move ahead or go ahead without me actually saying it. So it leaves me a nice balance of being able to be like, YouTube has just made this massive update, and then have an improv line or an improv joke and then keep going, and it will just match me rather than me having to match it, which I think is
cool.
huge.
Yeah. That's really good.
When you suggested that, I had to look through it. It's like it's great. Is it a one-off purchase? I thought it was a subscription.
No, I just bought it once.
Oh, never mind.
You might be looking at a different one. Yeah, I just bought it once.
No, I'm on the trial at the moment. I'll have to.
I don't know. I just bought it once.
Okay. All right. That's pretty cool.
Just a one-off app purchase. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's pretty good. Because I thought it was a subscription, but I was like, oh, never mind. Okay, that's even better.
I'll take
because
it.
It can't be a subscription because I'm not logged in on it, and I have the app. I think I just bought the pro version of the app. But either way, I think it's really good. I do think actually a lot of YouTubers use teleprompters that they don't tell you that you use teleprompters. I think it's really interesting. I was looking into it a bit, and there's a lot of creators out there who specifically will use teleprompters for all of their videos and then do what I kind of said, like have like chances for improv and stuff, but they have the core concept there. And you'd be really shocked because I think a lot of people would assume it's bad for you. The same way people assume when I tell you to go live with a piece of structured content, they go, I don't like scripting out my entire stream. And it's like, that's not what we said, is it? You know what I mean? And I don't think it works for every piece of content. Obviously, you're not gonna have a teleprompter for Let's Plays, but to be fair, you shouldn't be doing Let's Plays and in general, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't work for everything. It just works for maybe like reviews or things you have to script, or like maybe a tier list could be good. Like if you come up with jokes beforehand. I don't know. I think there's lots of options there.
No, definitely.
It's important. I do think I would also like to double down on what you said before in terms of don't use this as a crux, like straight off the bat. Really do learn, because it's such a skill to have something go, I need you to talk about X for 5 minutes or so. And if you can do that comfortably and feel like you can like keep on that kind of same subject matter, you know that you're good then. You know that you've actually can accomplish something, because when you do rely on doing something on a teleprompter and they're like, okay, I want you to do this event, or I want you to come here and do something, it's a completely different beast. And you do have to think on the spot, and improv is so important to doing that. And I think you learn that through streaming, because you do have to do long hours of just like, what can I talk about now? How can I talk about it? What can I bring back around? While some people are kind of like just focus on the gameplay. You know what I mean? Like Shroud doesn't have to do like crazy kind of like, here's my day. He just goes straight into a game and plays it, and people just focus on that. But if you're new, people are not going to be so immersed in your gameplay. They're going to be immersed in you as a personality. So be sure that you can actually act on that when the time comes.
I mean, if you go watch the very first Stream Scheme video I uploaded, or even the second or third or the first 10, it's fucking, I'm like a stone. There are days there where like you watch the Stream Scheme videos that first went out and I'm like, Hey guys, welcome in. I'm so hard trying to remember it and stuff. And then like over the 2 years, I just got better and better and better. And now with a teleprompter, it just gives me so much flexibility to be like, here's all this stuff that I'm talking about. Here's what we're covering today. Here's a bit of improv, and now I'm getting back into the script, and we're good to go. You know,
Awesome.
And I think it's just powerful. Yeah,
It is. It's such a powerful tool.
Like that's the thing. The practice and experience really leans into that a lot. Like you put like years of work into it before you got the teleprompter, so it paid off.
Yeah, but either way, speaking of how YouTubers use things and do things, should we talk about who inspired us to start content creation? It was supposed to kind of be our kickoff, but we got a little bit sidetracked, but that's normal for us. Boys, who was the first content creator that you watched that really like heavily inspired you?
Oh, that's such an easy one. Do you remember that amazing YouTuber called Fred? He kind of did this funny thing with... No. I would never. Please do not look up Fred on YouTube.
Reapz loves annoying orange.
Oh man, there was a second Reapz. I thought you were serious.
No, dear sir, no. Honestly, in terms of gaming, I'm going to throw out a name to you. C Nanas. Does anybody remember C Nanas?
Yeah.
He had this great kind of vibe where it was like he was always laughing. He was always the jokester, the prankster of the crew. It was kind of Let's Plays, but cut down. Like at the time, at the time of YouTube, big things with the Let's Plays, right? Big old 3-hour things, But he was kind of like that version where he did cut it down and he did show the best bits. And he had his whole crew there. He had like a Gassy Mexican. He had Chilled Chaos. He had all those type of people who are still around today and thriving, much like himself. But I just remember watching him and being like, yeah, I just want to fuck around with friends, have a good laugh, and hopefully people want to watch it. So that was kind of like a very mild jumping off point for me.
No, I think that's a really good one. That's really good. They'd completely forgotten about a lot of those guys. I like not Chilled, because Chilled is still very much a big creator.
Yeah,
but yeah, I remember watching all of them. I used to love. I think they really blew up like in the OG Modern Warfare days of Machinima, but then they also blew up again secondary during the Ghost. What was it called? Ghost Hunt, or it was like the Trouble in Terrorist Town era. But after that,
like the Gmod thing. Yeah.
Gmod Prop Hunt,
Gmod,
and then there was the Ghost Hunt and stuff like that.
Yes,
and
I know what you're talking about.
Do you guys remember there was a clip of C-Nanas pretending to be Morgan Freeman as a ghost hunter? As like he was like the ghost hunting people.
It was Gassy Mexican.
That was Gassy Mexican.
Was it? Yeah, but like they were hunting him. They were like, I can smell you. And like that was the whole thing.
It was called The Hidden. It just
the Hidden. There you go. Yeah.
Popped in.
Yeah.
But people loved that shit, man. People were all over that. They were like obsessed with everything to do with it. So yeah, that's a good shout, dude. Good shout.
Yeah, like the old personality thing. I think that was like the start of it for me, in terms of it wasn't just gameplay. It wasn't just, oh, this person's exceptional at the game. Because I used to watch a guy called Sandy Ravage, who was amazing at Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and had this amazing series, because back in the day, kind of apt that Modern Warfare 2 just came out this past 2 weeks. You could do these tactical inserts, right? So what people used to do is they get their friend and they go into a free-for-all lobby, and they'll go off to the very outskirts of the map, and they'd both have tactical inserts. And so what they'd do is that they would put it down, their friend would shoot them, they'd respawn in at the exact same spot, keep putting it down, till their friend got like a 25 kill streak, you know what I mean? So they could level up their guns faster. And what Sandy Ravage did was he used to try, he knows the people who do that. You can see them on the map and everything. And he would hunt them down and he'd ruin them just before they got to their kill streak. Like, it was just the best thing, because you hear them raging, you see them trying to go to different lobbies, and he chases them to different lobbies. And it was some of the best entertainment for me as, this, fucking person who was obsessed with Call of Duty at the time. So I really enjoyed that. But C-Nan has made a personality come to it. He brought like a whole crew in, and it was just so entertaining to watch.
Yeah. I watched Vivid C-Nanas, but I mean, this might seem like a cop-out answer, but I genuinely did watch a lot of Markiplier and Jacksepticeye way back in the day. And I watched a lot of Rooster Teeth, but it was really those two that sort of really sort of changed how I looked at things. And that's what, like, they truly inspired me to start giving it a go and seeing what I could create. Which ended up me making some really bad, like Let's Plays back in the day, playing like the original Hotline Miami. I did like this really bad, like, how to play Minecraft, like 8-minute video skit thing. It was, so yeah, I like experimented with a bunch of different stuff, and I was gaming and recording on this old crappy laptop. So I could only like get like a maximum of 30 FPS when I was recording with Fraps.
Fraps,
and then,
dude.
Unregistered hypercam too.
Oh my god, Bandicam.
God. And so yeah, Fraps was what I used. And then my friend had a spare code for Sony Vegas Pro, Sony Vegas something, whatever it was. And that I used that to edit for like those videos. But back then, Aussie internet was crap. So uploading YouTube videos like took forever. Like a 1 gig video took like, I had to do it overnight. So I was like, I'm going to stop this. And I stopped for a while and eventually built my first proper PC. And that's when I sort of like started streaming. But goes back to, the idea of Markiplier and Jack sort of themselves, like, yes, they were Let's Plays, but they were definitely bringing a lot of personality to their own videos and a lot of just, like they were like there was like a lot of improv comedy in the sense of like how could they make it funny, what narratives could they sort of create in their videos and that kind of thing. So it was a lot of fun, and that's kind of what really kicked things off for me.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if they inspired me to start creating content necessarily, but I know that the very first creators that I actually watched were the Yogscast. And I remember what happened was I was this little kid. I was playing Burning Crusade on a World of Warcraft account that I lost years ago, right? And I was playing Burning Crusade. I don't know how I got access to it. I think a friend like gave me his account or some shit. But I'm playing this game and people were like raging at me for being a terrible player because I was a kid. I was like 13, 14 or something. Not even that. Like even younger than that, actually. Like I should not have been doing it. And I had to learn how to raid. And so I looked up a raid guide for, I think it was Sunwell, right? In old school WoW Burning Crusade. This is before Classic and obviously Wrath of Lich King before all of it. And I found this video called How to Do Sunwell. And I click it. And it was Honeydew and Zephos not explaining it whatsoever, just had the raid in the background while they talked absolute mad nonsense about random shit. And then started showing off art and fan art and all this sort of stuff. And I found the Yog Pod, which was a podcast from that. And then I started watching them in full. And they started doing Minecraft. And I remember watching episode 1 of their Minecraft series. And that was like one of the first fucking things that blew up. Like this is like, I'm talking like OG internet days. This is before Minecraft was even being content created on. Like the Yogs were like one of the very first people to ever touch it.
Was this like Shadow of Israel or something even earlier?
Well, this was before it. This was before Shadow of Israel. So their very first episode was How to Survive Night 1. And it was just them jumping into an online world with Honeydew teaching Zephos how to play, right? And then they just started building, doing stuff. And then someone had this idea. One of the friends in the group had this idea to mess with Simon a bit and have other people join the world as NPCs and like pretend to be NPCs, or someone would go build a structure to like, and he'd be like, who the fuck built this? And Lewis would be like, what do you mean? Isn't this just normal how Minecraft is? And like, and that evolved eventually into Shadow of Israel. But at first it was just this like Let's Play series where it was just them playing the game, learning how to play, that it turned into all of this extra world building and this whole creation that Honeydew had no concept that it was going to happen. It was all just surprise. And Zephos kind of had to rein him in. And it was amazing to watch.
Cool.
Yeah, and I've been watching them for far too long, to be honest. And now that I'm looking back, I feel old.
I mean, they like you said, they are like OG YouTube. Like they've been around for a long time.
Yeah. I also think like you also touched upon Nick Rooster Teeth, because I did used to watch a lot of. I think they got the name Let's Play as their YouTube.
One of the biggest lies they've ever told.
Oh, really? Go on.
They when they got the account name for Let's Play was a very commonly used phrase. Everyone was using it. And they acted like Jeff had just had this great idea to just save the word Let's Play as a channel name.
Yes.
And they've had it for years. And it wasn't the case whatsoever. They fucking got special treatment, bought it. It's total bullshit to pretend like that was true.
Really? Real? I didn't know this whole thing.
Let's be entirely real, right? They came up with the Let's Play channel in like 2016, 2017, right? Or maybe even 2015 or something like that. That was a very widely used term. And it was a fucking, either they're the genius of the internet, which is not the case, let's be real, or they got special treatment because they were one of the largest creators, right? Like it was a whole thing. There was a massive debate about it at the time and how kind of dumb it was and how they didn't, no one really understood why they kept pushing the narrative of like, yeah, we just saved it. We're domain holders. We like to grab domains and hold domains. Like no one understood. Like just say that you got special treatment and thank YouTube.
Yeah.
but they were vehemently denied it. And it was like,
What are the chances that it actually wasn't taken? Like by the time they started to take off.
Come on, everything is taken these days. You can't even have Nicktacular. Oh, okay, so sorry. 5 years ago, they were still taken. Come on. The word "let's play." Come on.
I do remember watching the whole Let's Play channel. I remember watching Achievement Hunter when Ray was on it. And they used to do those crazy challenges. Like they used to play, what's it called? Go? I think it was something that's like they set up those challenges. And I love that. I love those challenges. I love watching. There was only like 10 minutes and you're like, who's going to win, Michael or Gavin and all that kind of stuff. Obviously grew out of it. But at the time, it was kind of like, that's exactly what I wanted to do. Because it felt...
I don't think you grew out of it. I think the problem with Rooster Teeth was they didn't evolve with the platform.
Okay.
So I feel like a lot of people keep saying I grew out of it. No, I used to think I grew out of it as well. But I think the reality is, same with Funhouse, a lot of Rooster Teeth properties never adapted or changed with the algorithm, and they still wanted to do kind of unedited long format content. And it was just like, it didn't work over time because people got better and better content. They became better at what they did. Funhouse is still going, but not to the same degree it used to.
No.
And they still do the same thing I'm talking about with you guys, like the kind of like, here's his highlight reel kind of thing, no real concept behind it. But the reason I think Funhouse has been more successful than say Let's Play or Achievement Hunter long term, and why they're still chugging along, they're actually funny.
Yeah.
This is maybe a weird take, but I as a 15-year-old, I loved Let's Play and Achievement Hunter and all that stuff. But as I got a little bit older,
Funhouse,
it wasn't just the content, but I was like, this shit's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen the drama over the last few weeks with old RT. I used to be a massive RT fan.
Yes.
Huge.
Yeah.
But like, even at the time when I was 15, when Gavin and Jeff were talking about Connect the Hots, did you guys know about this? So there's this game, Gavin Free of Slow Mo Guys and Jeff Ramsey, one of the founders of Rooster Teeth, had a game called Connect the Hots that they bragged about playing on multiple occasions. That what they would do is on their drive to work or drive home from work, if they saw a hot woman walking down the street, they would start tailing her in their car slowly until they saw a different woman who was more attractive, and then they'd switch and follow her instead.
What the fuck?
No, is that
and
real?
As a 15-year-old, it is, and they were so proud of it and stuff. As a 15-year-old, I was like, that's fucked up. Like as a teenager, I knew that was messed up, and I thought it was so wild to hear them bragging about that in videos. And then people called them out for it, rightly so, and they removed all the videos quickly. Never apologized, just removed all the videos.
That's
messed up.
Not good.
But I didn't. That is news to me. I did not know about that. That is freaking wild.
All the Achievement Hunter guys using a slur as a nickname for one of the co-workers was recently revealed. I don't know. I loved them as a teenager, and then like you kind of grow a little bit older and you realize it's kind of messed up. Like Bernie Burns is one of my biggest inspirations.
Love Bernie
Burns.
Like
I have a coin in my wallet from Bernie Burns is like giving out the coins each year. Because I met him at PAX Australia, and amazing, right? Tried to go back and listen to some podcasts and stuff recently. It's kind of hard, to be honest. It's like it's very clear that Bernie Burns was kind of not great when it comes to like his thoughts about the world. Dude was like really almost. I don't want to get political, but like he really had bad takes on underprivileged people.
Oh,
and
really?
Like he honestly believed trickle down economics was real.
Oh, okay, right, okay.
Okay.
Like he would talk about like he like really didn't understand his own personal privilege, and it was really tough to go back and hear some of his takes. And like did you know what also blew me away? He said the N-word so much.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
Is this on the podcast or is this in like videos? Oh god.
No, in podcast and videos. And like, and all this stuff. And like, I was watching back a bunch of podcasts trying to be like, yeah, I'm going to relive some of the fun days. And I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Stop. Don't ruin this for me. Yeah.
What the hell?
This is boggling my mind. Isn't it crazy? Because we talked about this at the very beginning. We're like, let's talk about our inspirations. And then it's also kind of like that theory of never meet your heroes, because no matter how high you can think of them, their esteem and everything in your eyes, there's always going to be a part that you're like, oh, I didn't know about that, and my whole like.
And it's not even like, oh, it was a different time. It was the early 1990s. It was like, no, it was like 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Oh, God.
It wasn't a different time. It was that's fucked up.
Oh, dude.
I want to say what video it was, but you probably won't remember, because I'm like, I used to watch a fair amount of their content, maybe like 6-7 years ago. And then as time went on, I was watching less. It was like more the Achievement Hunter side of things than Rooster Teeth. But like, that's wild. Like, I never saw videos like that.
You wouldn't expect it, right?
No.
Like you just wouldn't expect it. And when you think back to it, you remember all the good times, all the fun things and stuff like that. But like it's when you actually go back and look at it, you're like, holy shit, some of this was really messed up. Like messed up like privilege and takes and things they said was just like, that's not how the world works.
No.
You know what I mean? And then obviously you go look at their Glassdoor reviews from their employees and you're like, so everyone's having wages stolen, they're being overworked, crunch time. Probably the biggest thing was any employee was practically forced to do voiceover for shows, but they weren't paid voiceover rates.
Correct.
They were just told, hey, you work here, we're gonna let you be in a show, do all your voice acting professionally, but you're only gonna get paid your normal salary and your normal hourly rate for your main job. This is extra work you have to do on the side. Like, oh, that's messed up, man.
Yeah, I think I read a lot of the same stuff that you did, and hearing about all the stuff that happened behind the scenes is just so messed up, and it just taints something that, you know, I held dear as like, you know, good memories of like, you know, content and people that I looked up to and enjoyed, but now like a lot of that has just been washed away.
I fell off watching them like a long time ago, right? Like a long time ago. But I've always kept up with the Yogs. And one of the things that I thought was really, really interesting, and I can't prove this unless Claire was here, but essentially the Yogs announced years ago that they were going to partner with Rooster Teeth to start putting their videos up on their first membership early. And that was going to give the Yogscast a bit more revenue, and it was going to give Rooster Teeth First a bit more value, and they'd been collabing a bunch. It was really, really cool, right? A year prior, the Yogscast had gone through some issues where multiple or 2 or 3 members, it was 2 major members, but there was a third one as well who was less so a major member, who had gone through some pretty messed up stuff. It had come out that they had been trying to solicit photos from fans and stuff like that, right? And so what the Yogscast did was hired a third party to come in and investigate. Lewis opened his emails up and said, please send through all of your information about everything. I'll handle it all directly. And shockingly, I actually feel like even if I tried my best to be unbiased, I feel like I probably will be. But to me, it looked like one of the best ways I've ever seen a company handle employees doing something like that in the online space. Like they openly were like, okay, we're listening to you now. We weren't listening earlier. We've got a third party involved. We're handling it all properly. This guy's stepping down. This guy's been removed. There can be complete cut content. We've removed all of our biggest fucking series on the channel, which is true. They unlisted all of the biggest series on the channel to remove that one person who appeared in it to make it safer for people. And they worked really, really hard, right? And that's one of the reasons why their community is still with them to this day and why they've grown such a huge Twitch presence, I think, is because they actually like listened. But that was a year before they partnered with Rooster Teeth, right? And all of it had been handled, all of it had been done really well. Rooster Teeth partners with them. And I remember thinking this was the most messed up part of it. Rooster Teeth's community went up in arms, like saying, how dare you let these people be involved? Don't you know about their controversies, things they've done, like ripping them apart, like being awful, disgusting, like awful, right? Which isn't new for Rooster Teeth's major community. Rooster Teeth's major community was always quite toxic. Like even people who love them know that is the case.
Oh, for sure.
Right? So Rooster Teeth like makes this big, oh, we're not going to work with them anymore. We're not going to work with them anymore. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do this, right? And I said to Claire, I was like, this partnership's not going to go well. This is before all the drama. I was like, this partnership's not going to go well. I was like, Rooster Teeth's community hates when new members come into like Achievement Hunter and stuff. They're not going to like this. And they're going to flip the fuck out. And they flip the fuck out. Rooster Teeth like cuts ties with them, right? Which made Yogs lose a shitload of money. All of it, I called it to Claire. And then literally within 3 months, the Adam Kovic and Ryan stuff came out from Rooster Teeth.
Oh, dude.
Oh,
And I was like, fucking stones in glass houses, dude. Stones in glass houses.
It was shocking. And to this day, we find out more and more about like the whole thing. Obviously, I'm not going to go too far into it because you can just look it up. But I do remember at the time, this is kind of like similar. But I remember like watching Rooster Teeth, and I remember when Michael just joined because he did this. He had his own YouTube channel called, I think it was LTM Killer or something. Yeah, it was hilarious.
Rage quit.
Yeah. It was hilarious. He just like, he played like Crackdown or something on Xbox and yelled over it. It was great. Like I can understand why he was hired by Rooster Teeth. It's hilarious. He got the dream job of working for Rooster Teeth. And that's what I think when I got on board with Rooster Teeth, that's when I found out about them, was I found Michael before Rooster Teeth. Because it shows you the power of individuals over entities. Anyway. And then he did it, and I met Ray, Gavin, all the other crew, And I remember the big news was when Ray left Achievement Hunter. And I was like, dude, why the fuck would you leave Achievement Hunter? It looks awesome that you get to play video games, you have fun with your friends all day, da 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 da. And then
He looked so depressed though.
that was the thing.
I
That
don't
was the
think
thing.
I never understood how people in the comments couldn't see how depressed Ray looked. Like Claire and I would watch those episodes on Let's Play, and it'd be like a bunch of people being like, "Say the line, Bart! Say the line, Bart!" And like because Ray was so involved in the community, it also meant he got the most backlash.
Yeah.
So like someone in the video would say something slightly transphobic or homophobic, or they'd make a bad joke, and somehow Ray would be the one to get absolutely lambasted.
Yeah.
Right. And then the secret behind all of it that came out was Ray wanted to stream, and they said, you're not allowed to create content outside of Rooster Teeth.
Yes.
You cannot create any content outside of Rooster Teeth. And if you do want to go live, you have to go live on the Achievement Hunter or the Rooster Teeth channels only.
Yeah. And that was a
Wow.
big thing. So when he walked away because he wanted to stream, I was like, oh man, that's crazy, right? Like, but I guess it just won't be the same type thing. And then looking back on it now, that was the best decision like he could have made, because we didn't know what was going on behind the scenes. I'm guessing he was working crazy hours like we've heard everybody working. He's editing, doing all the things, and it just was a job. It wasn't even fun for him. It was just like going through the motions. Like he talked about it in a video. You can go to his website, go to his YouTube rather. But now you look at him now and he's thriving. He's thriving on Twitch.
Yeah.
He's thriving on YouTube. He's a multi-millionaire because of it. Like it's crazy to see just how well he's done out of the whole situation.
Starting working at GameStop.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Or GameStop to doing achievement guides for achievement community, YouTube.
Yeah, that's it.
To
Yeah.
being hired, to becoming probably the most popular member of Achievement Hunter, to leaving, and for good reason, to be honest. It was the way they treated him was horrendous.
Yeah.
Also, not to mention, I remember being so frustrated at one point, and this is another big reason why I stopped watching Achievement Hunter, was Ray came in with a new haircut. He wanted to try something new, so he tried a new haircut, right? And they bullied him horrendously, saying he looked like a thumb and all this sort of stuff because he got like a fade and all these things, just bullying him horrendously to the point where he made up this quite obvious lie that he fell asleep in the chair, and the barber just did whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
And it's so fucked up. Like, it's so messed up to think you're going into your job to do something and you're just going to get absolutely horrendously bullied by people to the point where you have to make up a joke or a lie to get them off your back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not a great sort of workplace, like truly behind the scenes. It's like on camera, so they'll make jokes, like they'll kind of like have bants, but a lot of times things will just go like too far. Like even, I mean, you look at like Gavin over the years got shit on like constant, like there was like constant bullying, like from all of them to each other.
But there was also like a literal assault. Did you guys know this? Like, this is another thing that I remember being like, oh, I need to stop watching these people, was when the animated, Rooster Teeth animated stuff came out, right? Gavin made a joke to the guy who did it, the animator who like did it all and founded it all. And the guy didn't like the joke. And so what he started doing was every time he'd see him, he'd punch him as like a friendly banter thing. He'd punch him, but it was legitimately like he was hitting him hard, right?
Who was hitting who hard? Sorry,
the animator who started the Rooster Teeth animation.
I think was it Jordan? Was that his name?
It was Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and he'd start like literally like practically beating the shit out of Gavin every time he saw him as a haha, yeah, you roasted me, and bang, right? Like that, to the point where Gavin was like, can you stop? And he never stopped. Right, to the point where HR had to get involved, and it still like never stopped. There was just horrendous, fucked up, like it was terrible. Like when you think back to it and you watch this stuff back, and you're like, how is this taken this long for this house of cards to fall down?
Oh boy. And like you think back, like I think back to like, when I was younger, and I'm like, man, it'd be so cool to work at Rooster Teeth and Achievement Hunter. And then you hear all this stuff and you're like, yeah, thank goodness.
Dodged
no.
a bullet, right? Dodged an absolute bullet, because it all started, if people don't know, like Rooster Teeth started when they made like a kind of mashing a series of Red versus Blue, which is inside the Halo universe.
It's actually a little earlier than that.
Oh, really? Okay.
So Rooster Teeth actually started by doing a website called Drunk Gamers, where they reviewed video games to try and get free games. Didn't get any free games, but then they thought, let's make a sketch of the Apple versus Mac for gamers. And it was, Mac versus Windows for gamers. And that blew up. So then people were like, hey, can you include that video in our magazine give us that video and we'll put it in our magazine and send it out to the whole of America. And they were like, sure, we can do that. Quick, put this episode 1 of Red versus Blue on the disc as well as like a side thing with a link to our website, but we can't call it Drunk Gamers, which is what their website was. What do we call it? Oh, let's call it Cockbite, because that's something we keep saying in Red versus Blue. And they're like, well, that's not allowed. And they're like, fine, we'll call it Rooster Teeth, Cockbite.
Yeah.
And so they put the DVD on that had the Apple Mac thing that people wanted to see on the mag, and then the Red vs. Blue was attached to it. And then the day the magazine went out, they quickly threw together 2 to 3 more episodes and uploaded them on the website as well. And it just, boom, virality from there.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Because they tried to do one in The Sims called The Strangerhood, which like was terrible.
It's a forever meme of the community.
Yeah, which was absolutely horrible. But yeah, that just like kicked Red versus Blue off. I think I got introduced to Rooster Teeth when season 7 of RVB was airing. So it was quite late. Yeah.
I'm not sure what my episode 1 was. I think it probably would have been an achievement guide, to be honest. I think because I got really into like early Xbox 360 achievement hunting because I couldn't go online. You just couldn't I couldn't play online on my 360 as easily. So I think I was like really into just like trying to 100% games. Because as a kid, you can't buy new games every week. So you're kind of like, you really got to get your time out of this shit, man, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was like 100%ing Saints Row 3 and like everything I could. Like, and it's like some of these games, you're like, yeah, they're okay, but I would not spend this many hours on a game like that these days.
Unless you had nothing better to do, so that was it.
Yeah.
Well, guess I need to try get 500,000 points in Saints Row 3 when I get hit by cars. It's like, whoa.
I can't.
Or
do
Halo 3. Also, can we point out how messed up it is to have achievements that are purely based in online play?
Oh, I hate
like
that.
Halo 3
Get rid of
had
that.
multiplayer achievements. Yeah, get 7 headshots in a fucking snipers and shotguns lobby.
Yep. And especially when you want to get those, you want to, like, as you said, fully achieve all the achievements that you can do. But obviously, it's 13, 14 years down the track and nobody's playing that game anymore. And then you're like,
LJ.
Well, in Halo 3 is how you get like katanas and stuff. So me and my mates would sit there for hours and grind. And I managed to get like a whole kit. I had all like the katana, all the samurai gear for my guy in Halo 3, right? Huh?
The Hayabusa.
Yeah. And I had it all. And then they just released more achievements. And when they released more achievements, they just took it away. They took the whole set away from me.
They
released DLC, online DLC to add new maps. And I lost my whole Hayabusa set. And I was like, is that supposed to happen? None of my friends lost it.
What?
But I lost it.
It just happened to. I was saying that's weird. That didn't happen.
It was the most annoyed I've ever been. And because I was a kid, I was like, how do I get it? I don't know what a support line is. What's a support chat? What do I do?
Yeah.
LJ, did you do the 7 Vidmasters to get recon armor?
I think maybe. I had spent ages on that. I played a lot of time in Halo 3. I could probably go back and check my old Halo account, to be honest.
Did you play ODST? Because you had to do a few in there too.
Yeah. I played every single Halo game since Halo 1.
Yes.
I was all over it. I stopped playing, I believe, it was the first episode they brought Forerunners in. So Halo 4 was the Forerunners?
Yeah.
It was after ODST and Reach. And I stopped playing because I was like, okay. What is this? What is this story now?
It's getting a bit wild here.
And then I picked up the new one as well, and I played the multiplayer before when it came out and everything like that. And I was like, cool. So there's like one game mode, and you kind of just have to get any choices, and there's no forge, and there's no co-op campaign. Okay.
Yeah, I was sad to hear that they just canceled. They're just scrapping co-op at the moment. Like it's just all steam ahead on Forge, which looks freaking phenomenal, to be honest. But
that was the best part about 3 as well, Forge, to be honest. Like, I don't know if you guys ever played much Halo 3 on Forge, but there was this massive game mode called Lava Pit. And all it was in the sky of a sandbox map, and in the middle was like a pit, right? Like you're just like floating on these big blocks, and the outside is like a square. There's a circle in the middle that kind of like ramps down as if it's like a half dome, and in the bottom is a bunch of like giant flaming suns, like orbs that'll kill you if you hit them, right? And all around the map are a bunch of different cars. There's warthogs, there's not banshees, there's warthogs, there's ghosts, choppers, and mongooses, and you just randomly spawn. And you have to get into them and try and knock each other into the pit or off the edge and stuff like that. And we played that game for hours. Just private lobbies, just 10 friends, just playing that fucking thing for hours, to the point where like we would like jump in a ghost, dive into the pit, hit the edge, and then ramp ourselves out of it and stuff like. It was the coolest thing.
I played like most of my gaming life was probably in Halo 3. Well, 100%. The custom games were just next level. Like playing Speed Halo, and all sorts of other fun stuff. It was so much fun.
I remember doing an obstacle course where I was like, you had cover, and so there was like 5 people running this course, or however many it was, and there was like 3 people above trying to shoot you through the obstacles. It was the best.
I remember that.
You used to try, like psych them out. Oh,
it was called like Snipers versus Runners or something like that. It was built,
so good, so much fun. Yeah, those were the good days, man.
I'm hoping that once Forge like comes out to the public for Infinite, like I'm hoping we start to see some stuff like that. But there's not enough of a player base right now.
My cynical side says no.
Yeah,
like, I think they missed it, right? Like releasing it without Forge and without co-op campaign is you're just setting yourself up to fail. It's like Titanfall 2 being released with between 2 of the biggest games of the thing, right?
Yeah.
It's just a choice that you're making to kill a game. In my head, at least.
I think so.
It's like look at it, right? Like it's rough.
It's just so annoying. Like we've gone to that state where no longer do you have to release full games. You can release parts of your full game over time and go, this will be released this day, this day. This is the alpha, this is the beta, this is everything. And it just feels like you don't have time for it anymore. Like you see through it and you're just like, if you gave me everything at once, I would so be all over this to this day because I've got so much content to get through. But when you grind the one thing and you're just kind of like, oh, that's it, I'm going to play something else for a bit. And then you just forget about what you've done because nobody else is playing it. It's really frustrating how they can do that to series.
It's like the Minecraft success. The Minecraft success was because of, as much as people maybe want to try to deny it, the OG Minecraft success was down to content creators like the Yogscast and also the modding community.
Yeah.
Like that was 100% it. The game only blew up because YouTubers picked this game up. Like I'm talking early days, right?
Yeah.
Like this was beta when I picked it up and bought it. I bought it for $5 off the Mojang Minecraft, not even the Minecraft website, the Mojang website. And I've had it since beta, for fuck's sake. Like, and I bought it because of the Yogs. And like, I think there's a reason why the Yogscast were one of the first content creators invited to Minecon back in the day as well, which didn't go down great because he who must not be named was still a part of the company and he didn't like anything. But like, yeah, I don't know. I think people like to pretend like these games aren't influenced by the community heavily. Yeah. But like the fact they released Halo without Forge is or without co-op campaign, I personally felt was them being like, we are not in touch or have any idea about how our community actually plays these games. Because if you ask anyone, you'd be like, hey, so what do you think is the most thing people do in Halo? They'd go, oh, I pretty much just play Forge maps. That's what it is, right? It's just like, you're setting yourself up to make so the community won't build any maps. Community can't do anything. That's what people love, though.
I will counter the point to say they would have, but the development was so rocky and just all over the place, and that's why they had to delay the game a year, and then they still didn't launch with co-op and Forge because it just wasn't done. Like it just straight up wasn't
denying
done.
That. Though. I'm saying that's them. They should have just delayed it again. To be honest, like because investors probably pushed it out. I get that, but like. If you think about it, you should just say to the investors, okay, if we do this, just a heads up, the game dies in 3 months, or we delay it for 6 months to 8 months, and then the game doesn't die.
Yeah.
Like it's an online service game. You have to make sure the online service game has constant updates and constant stuff coming out, which is the problem with every online service game, is there's never constant updates and constant things coming out, which means people don't get bored of it so fucking quickly doing the same thing over and over and over again. Hence why Forge is so powerful is because people can constantly make what they want to play, right? They can make new content for the game. It's why the modding in Minecraft is huge. And otherwise you get games like Destiny 2, which I love. But the problem with online service games like Destiny 2 is every week they have to give you something else to do or else you will get bored of it instantly because it's the same shit over and over. And that's why, D2 is like, we're not giving you Iron Banner every week. We give it to you every 3 weeks. So if you like Iron Banner, keep playing for 3 until the next time it comes up. You want to play the Halloween event? Here it is. You want to play this event? Here it is. Like it's carefully done so that people like constantly have something new and they don't get bored. And we still get bored.
Yeah. It'll still happen regardless. But
I don't know. I just feel like I was so frustrated because I feel like Halo, I was ready to get back into it as a person with the new one. And it just got bored so quickly. There was also like there was no free for all. There was no like there was like no game mode.
It was all 4v4. It was just
there was nothing there. It was really disappointing. And look, I think eventually it'll get to the point where I guess we all wanted it to be. And like, we may see a resurgence once it has it. We might not, but time will tell.
Yeah, very much.
I my cynic in me says no, it won't. I know maybe I'm being overly cynical, but I feel like it's, when did it release? How many months has it been now since Halo 6, Halo Infinite?
It was definitely this year,
Googling
right?
release date.
It was like March.
It was November last year.
It was November last year. Holy shit.
November last year.
It's been a year.
It's been 1 year.
It's been a year since it came out. Like, come on. It's no way it's coming back to life.
Which I want to point out, they did say, when they initially delayed the game, they did say that Forge and Co-op would be in the game by July of this year.
Which is like, I reckon it would have been July of this year had they not had to do live service maintenance at all times.
Yes.
If you just hold off, for fuck's sake. A finished game is better than a shit game on release. Like, come on.
Do you know much about like how Microsoft hires employees and like contractors and stuff like that?
Clearly badly.
Yeah. So basically, it's sort of like a way. It's like a kind of a bit of a scummy way of how they, like, instead of hiring people on full time, they just like contract them, right? So they contracted people like on this 18th month contract. And essentially, and so when the game was meant to release, when the Xbox and PlayStation launched, right, these people would have been on for another, like, I think 6 to 8 months,
right,
or something like that. So they would have had this massive team. The game would launch, and they'd help. They'd have a portion of it to make live service, the other portion to make the actual game.
Right.
But then they delayed it.
Right.
And all those contractors got let out, and because of Microsoft's like terms of service for contracting, they couldn't rehire the contractors straight away. They have to wait like a certain period of time before they rehire them. So essentially their team size shrunk to only like the core team at 343 that's a dramatic amount. And so therefore you have the situation where there was nothing happening with live service, and the progress for actually making Forge and co-op and other stuff was just, was basically like
dead in the water.
Friction. Yeah. Not dead water, but like, yeah, it was taking way too long because they just didn't have the manpower. So all because of Microsoft's, terms for contracting, and then bad development planning in general. Like, there was a lot of shit that happened. That like I watch a lot of gaming news, but yeah, it was a mess. So that's what happened.
It's still a mess for me, not from that perspective, but as I told you boys like a few weeks back on the podcast, it's like, oh, we're going to play this week, and I was like, I want to play the Halo 5 Infinite, Halo 6 campaign, right? And so I downloaded Halo 6, and then I was like, finally get to play it, right? Go inside. There's only multiplayer. You've got to go inside Halo 6 to then download the campaign from inside the thing that you've already downloaded. So then it was another 3-4 hours of downloading until I could play the campaign. And it just became so like, we know that games these days, profitable games, are all about multiplayer. As much as we want them to be, God of War, Ragnarok, which is always exciting because, it's going to be a single player actual game, no online stuff, which is like, thank fuck. There's always a component that I feel people have to add, like, to every game. Even when it was Uncharted, right? They're like, we need to add an online online mode. We need to add multiplayer to this, to this, to this. And that's fine and all well and good. But when they're tacked on, when it's just kind of like, we've got to hit X goal, and it's just the worst shit ever. They find that any story mode campaign, any single player campaign is not worth the time or money because there's no replayability to it. And it's so annoying. Like, I don't know if that'll ever change, but it just seems like multiplayer is the more important thing than the actual story itself.
Yeah, well, this made the multiplayer free to play for Infinite at the very least.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, on that note, Reapz, like, they haven't done a battle royale yet.
True, but is it coming?
It is probably in the works at some point, I'm sure.
I mean, I don't mind. I know this is going to come across strange because I think a lot of people hate them, but I actually really love the Battle Royale concept because I find that the reason I like Battle Royale is because of the even footing that comes in it. Like, I like Battle Royale because you drop in, everyone starts with the same shit, you scavenge, you find, you fight, you lose or you win, right? You're in, you're out, 5 minute adventure, let's go, you know what I mean? Like, And I find that one of the things that kind of frustrates me sometimes, and why Battle Royale is a breath of fresh air, is because say you're rank 60 in COD, like you said last week, Reapz, you've unlocked all your best guns, or your ACOGs, or your extra perks and stuff like that. You're clearly going to do better than someone who just basically starts the game. Hey, here's your stuff, you go for it. Go run off with your little sidearm. But Battle Royale is just, there's a nice balance to it, a nice freshness to it. Like even in Destiny, I struggle because like you'll go into, and it's skill-based matchmaking, so SBMM, which is cool. And a lot of people hate skill-based matchmaking, but like it's technically a better experience.
I think it's better. I don't see the hate for it, but yes.
But like the problem is in Destiny is like you load in and some guy has got some of the best fucking god roll guns ever. One tapping you, doing this, doing that, you know, like all he's done is grind out this one gun, and that gun is just like, it's not even, you don't even have to aim with it practically, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just like, okay, well that, I get it. I could go do that too. And there are times where I have done that. But that's why sometimes it's nice to be like, you know what? Let's just have the breath of fresh air. Let's battle royale. Drop me in. Everyone has the same shit. Let's go for it. You know,
a battle royale in the set with Halo makes sense in my eyes in terms of the concept and the idea of like how it can all work. But I think what you're saying, Eljay, also leads into the fact of like what Halo multiplayer is, where everybody is loading in with the same two guns. And you have to, you know, go around the map and fight your way, which is on your skill. You have to fight your way to get to some power weapons, but obviously you only get a few shots of those before they run out, and you're back to your basic weapons. Yeah. So, and I think
I do think it's better.
Yeah, I think, and that's why I've always liked about like Halo as well.
There's an actual balance to it. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting. Honest question: do you guys find that SBMM, so skill-based matchmaking, there's a lot of debate about the fact that should be saved for ranked play, and casual play should be just you get queued with anyone?
I think if they can do both options in terms of the problem that we see with SBMM is that every time that you go into said lobby, it's going to be a bit of a sweaty time because according to, you know, whatever they define as the skill base, you're going to be with people who are of similar skill base to you, and it's going to be a bit harder to kill people. So that's why you always see those big Call of Duty players. They want to go into pubs so they can stomp the people who've got no idea how to play the game and get their 50 kill streak, whatever it is, right?
It's like smurfing, right?
Exactly.
Like
it's basically smurfing. Like they use VPNs and stuff. They use VPNs these days to do it.
Really?
Yeah.
I miss the old League of Legends day where you just make a new account and you go in, you're like a level 15, but you've actually got a level like 300 account and you know how to stomp. And you just like start rickrolling people.
Yeah.
I only did it once or twice because my mates started new accounts, so I had to go back to it. But like,
it
was fun.
You like stomping people. And it's a great feeling, obviously, if you're like in God mode and you're just killing everything. But I can understand from perspective of like, the reason why skill-based matchmaking is in there is to make people who are new to the game not have to deal with just getting their head crushed in every time they spawn because they don't know the map and people are just across there with like a sniper zoned in on where people spawn and just like one tap them. It's the worst feeling. And that's how you get people who are like, I don't want to play this game because I get no enjoyment out of it. So I can completely understand it. I think it'd be nice, obviously, if there was like an unranked sector so people can go in there and do their stuff. But there's no worse feeling than when you are in a game yourself and you're on the opposing side of a Smurf who's just God tier at the game and you just can't have fun. You're literally just there and you're like, well, I don't see the point in playing because I can't kill anything. I don't feel like I'm having fun. What's the point? Like, just disconnect.
This is an interesting conversation because one of the things me and my mates always talk about, we've got this one friend who prefers when the game is just an absolute stomp fest.
Okay.
Even if he's getting stomped, he wants it over quick and he likes when it's like something like that.
Okay.
Whereas me and my mate, every time we go into say like a PvP lobby in any game, when it's really close, we'll both pretty much at the end be like, "Whoa, that was good. That was really close. You know, that was good." Whereas he'll be like, "Oh, it took so long." It's like, dude, what are you playing for? If you just want to either be shit on or shit on people, right?
Yeah.
Like, go play a single player game where it's a fantasy game where you get to fucking live out your idea of crushing. Go play Hyrule Warriors, kill thousands of things in seconds, right? Like you're going into a match for PvP, you want it to be somewhat of a challenge. And if you don't want it to be that, there are other things for you to pick up and play. Don't get me wrong. I don't think everyone needs to sweat it out in like brutal games. It always is interesting to me to hear people be like, I don't want to have to deal with close games and close matches.
Yeah. But you feel so much more rewarded, don't you, when you do win them? You're like, I earned that, man. Like, I was getting someone who was up to my skill level,
point,
and I
you're
just,
like, fuck yeah.
I got it at the end.
When you know that you brought out the win because you were just a bit more skillful than your opponents, like that's that's like a good feeling. And like, obviously when you're doing team-based stuff, you can definitely have your weak links that can bring the team down, which leads to a lot of rage and things like that.
Well, like I think it's also, I should clarify as well. You said when you get that little win because you were a little bit skilled. I also love it when we just lose by a tiny bit. It doesn't frustrate me. It makes me go, that was good. We almost had that. It doesn't bother me to lose by 1 point.
Oh, I could have done this differently. I'm going to try this tactic a bit more because I do. Like if I lose by a little bit, I was like, it was all about, I shouldn't have been out in the open there. I should have been playing the choke over here. Like, yeah.
One of the things I always notice a lot in Destiny playing PvP lately, because I've been playing 2 modes called Glory and Trials, which like there's normal Destiny PvP, right? Which is like just chill. You go in, you do your thing, right? But then there's Glory, which is like sort of slightly more like competitive. And the idea is that you have 3v3 and you start with 5 lives. If your team dies, you go down to 4, right? Yep. And essentially the idea is you can revive 5 times total, and whoever's team gets wiped out in full first loses that round, win 5 rounds, win the whole thing, right? And so it's really interesting of a game mode, because when I die and lose everyone's lives, which sometimes will happen, it's just because I had a bad game, whatever, it happens to us all. But when other people do it, they fucking suck and need to quit. And it really just is one of those situations. Reapz' face was like, what?
I slowly like got in there. I was like, what is happening here? That was I didn't say that. What?
Obviously, I'm joking. But no, and then
his
Trials
toxicity's coming out.
Yeah, and then Trials is similar, 3v3, right? But when you die, you can be picked up. But the idea is whoever kills the other 3 people, the other team, in full first. But if you can get picked up, it means that there's like this really nice kind of back and forth and like, oh, defend that. You got to defend that body. Don't let them revive them. Don't let them revive them, And that's the really sweaty one. Trials is like, it's only open for the 2 days of the weekend. So it's like, we jump in there and it's like, you gotta get like 50 wins in it for the weekend.
Do you get a bit
like
of adrenaline rush when you're in there? A bit of nerves and you're like,
it is brutal.
Yeah.
Me and my mates have been playing it a lot lately on the weekends. And it's just like, there's nothing more rewarding than like a really close Trials game. Because obviously it's round based, so you have to win 5 rounds to like win out the whole thing. So it's like if you're passing rounds back and forth, and you're kind of learning from it, saying to your mates, like, every time we run that direction, we get in this chokehold. If you guys want to go that's fine. I'm going this way, I'm going to flank, and like you're figuring it out. And like you're trying to work together and stuff. You're like, we can't all stay together. They're clearly running too much AoE. We're getting shit on if we go together. We separate, Like, it's just... It's fun, man. I love a good competitive game.
I enjoy, like back in Destiny when I played a lot of Destiny 1, I enjoyed my time. And part of me was like sad that I kind of had dropped off of it, but there was so many great moments from Destiny that I really enjoyed. One thing that's also on that note is another reason why I liked Rainbow Six Siege a lot was it was very much based on the skill, where it's like, you could be in a one-on-one confrontation, and you could make one decision that was impulsive, and then you'll die and you're like, oh, man, I should have been a little bit more patient, or maybe I should have looped around this way. So like you have a lot of those moments, and it's a game that has a very high like skill climb at the beginning, but you've also very quickly will unlock guns and like other operators and stuff. So you'll be brought up in terms of your availability of like what you have to your disposal. But then it really just comes down to skill, and that was a really fun part of Siege. Was like, I've had some great moments where I clutched to win like a 1v4 and or 1v5. It's some good times.
There is no better feeling in a game of Siege than having like a random C4 or something like that and throwing it through a window, or just like getting a random throw of a grenade and just getting the little and knowing you killed someone and being like, get shit on. Like, just it's such a good feeling of just that and they get so annoyed. Or like you just fire a single shot through a breakable wall in Siege and like getting the kill, and you're like, yeah, get screwed.
It's such a good feeling. That has happened to me a few times. There'll be like a ceiling, like a ceiling light, or like a window, and I would just throw a C4 because I know someone's up there, and you hit it, and then you see on the kill screens like Nictacular killed. So it's like, yes.
Yeah. There's this character in Siege. I don't know if you've ever played it, Reapsy, but there's a character in Siege called Fuse.
Okay.
And Fuse's whole thing is he's this Russian guy, right? He's an attacker, so he's breaking in to save people who are being held hostage by the defenders, right? So Fuse, any breakable surface or any like thin surface, he can place this charge on it that shoves a hole through and then fires essentially a bunch of hockey pucks, like 20 hockey pucks in that all explode like little grenades, right? So it's like a way to like breach and clear. But the problem is that it also kills hostages. And here's the thing. In Fuse's lore, he literally says, hostages get in the way of getting the enemy. You know, like that. Like, and like the whole thing is when you see a fuse on your team as an attacker, you just know it's like a race against time to get in there and get the hostages before the fuse does. Because the fuse is like, it's time. And like just fucking runs to the main room, just goes dunk dunk. And the sound of a fuse charge is like,
and then there's this pause, and then you hear,
yeah. But like that is like one of the scariest sounds on either team, probably mostly for the hostage, is this sound.
It is wild. And so as everyone knows, like if you kill every enemy on the team yourself, it's called an ace, right?
Yeah.
Well, Reapz, there's also an extra thing in Siege, where if Fuse manages to kill all the opponents with the fuse charge and the hostage, now that's called the perfect ace.
I would love that to flash on the screen. You've killed everyone. Well done.
I have that on a shirt.
From what you've said, Reapsy, I actually think you'd probably enjoy playing some Siege.
Yeah.
I think you might like it because it's very much like everyone is kind of like an even playing field. They have their kit kind of like Overwatch.
Yeah.
But there's a bit more dynamicness to it in the sense that like a lot of the environment's destructible. There's the hostage that you got to save and pull out of the building, and you got to like, get them to an escape point, which means you go in, you get the hostage, and then as you're trying to escape, you know, you're also getting shot at. Like, there's a lot of like fun like to it. I think if you played with a few friends, I think you'd like it.
I definitely think I would. The main thing for me is that when you do play those games like Rainbow Six Siege and things like that, you have to learn a whole new skill set, like in terms of, you know, map awareness, everything. It's a lot of work to actually be up to the point where you're like, okay, I'm decent enough to like go in there and feel confident. And I think that that's a lot of things with like Overwatch 2. A lot of people are coming in because they didn't buy Overwatch 1. And, you know, the learning curve is steep because it's hard, right? But I had a great time the other day. I played with some mods and some other like streamers offline, completely offline. And
The dream.
Right? It was so good. And the thing was kind of like Forge in Halo. There's a thing called, you know, like custom games, and people make their own variations. So we played like bloody Doomfist sumo wrestling for like 2 hours, right? It's just a little platform and you use your punch and
that sounds awesome.
Things like that. It was so much fun. And there's if you ever know Roadhoggy's like his abilities that he can hook you into him. There's a bit in Ilios where there's a well, and there's a section called like Roadhog Well, where you just all go around this well. You're trying to get each other, like zip each other in. It's so much fun. And it just goes to show you that like there is a big difference between streaming a game online and streaming a game, well, not streaming a game offline, and having such completely different experiences with the same game because of the mindset you're in that you don't have to worry about what's on the screen. It's great.
I maybe we can talk about this a little bit, but like I have a few notes here that I want to talk about that over the last week or so, because obviously it's been like a week or so since I actually left streaming entirely.
Yeah.
And I thought I would miss it. I'm not missing it whatsoever. In fact, I'm enjoying playing games more. I have more time to play more games. I'm focusing on other things. But here is the big thing that I want to talk about. Can we talk about the fact that people try and force content creators in a live setting or in an unedited setting to try to be positive all the time? Like I sat down to record a video yesterday where I'd have to catch 100 Magikarp and wonder trade them and see what I get from randomizing essentially random trades, right? Who's going to give me something? What do I get? And I was like, I'm just not in the headspace for this. I'm sunburnt. I feel like shit. I didn't have a good sleep. You know, I'm a bit glum. I don't want to record. But I was like, I don't have to.
Yeah.
I'm not forced to.
Yeah.
But like, you know, like, but when you're on a podcast like this one, or when you're live, you kind of have that feeling of you have to be positive, even if there's nothing to actually be positive about. You know what I mean?
You have to be
like
on, yeah.
And people will be like, oh, there's always something to be positive about. But it's like sometimes in this industry, in content creation, in gaming, yeah, there's sometimes a few things you can be positive about. But it's so hard to focus on that stuff when there's so much bad shit happening at all times. You know what I mean?
I think there is a negative connotation when it comes to the fact that if you yourself are feeling a bit glum or down, that's you creating like a negative atmosphere to the people watching you and stuff like that. And I don't think that's right, because I don't think you can be human if you don't have negative feelings, right? And to also then put a mask on and just be positive all the time is the worst thing that you can do, because you know as soon as you've got to take that mask off, it's all going to come out. And it's going to come out in like, I would say, unhealthy ways, because again, you know what it's like. Working in retail, which I did for like, you know, obviously when you're in university or outside university, or even when you're in high school and stuff, you can bear it a bit more, right? But there is that point where there is a breaking point for everyone that if you don't talk back, you are literally doing yourself a disservice, even if it may be a thing of like, you could lose your job over it. But you cannot let people walk over you to an extent. And I feel that people don't understand that on streaming. As you said, Eljay, there is this connotation that if you're live, you have to be positive. To a lot of people, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of toxic streamers that make their money off of that. But if you're a good person, you feel like you don't want to go online when you're feeling down. But sometimes, spoilers, I go online when I'm feeling down a lot, but put on that mask, right? And that's why my streams are shorter at times. And I'm just like, trying to create something that's like not about me. So I like immediately go into a game or something like that. And I know that it's such a terrible thing for me because I have more restless nights. I have more of this thing where I just feel blur. And I feel that if I'm not anything but positive or at least, you know, normal, then people will be like, oh, we're not going to watch you because, you know, this isn't what you said that you were all about. But you feel like you can't be human. To a degree.
I think that the show must go on is something that I do believe. And I do believe that if I go live, I need to do my best to create entertaining content at all times.
Yeah.
Right? But I think it's also unfair to think that you're always going to be able to do that. And I think that's one of the reasons why I know for a fact that I've not missed streaming is because I have a lot of stuff that fucks me up. You know what I mean? Like I got a lot of things in my life that are going on that I haven't talked about online that are just absolutely brutal right now. And I know that some days it's really shit and hard. And that's one of the reasons why this is a big reason I didn't talk about, last week when we talked about quitting or on the stream. I have so much shit going on that is just like draining my mental health and drama and like at home. Not like bad stuff that is like people being bad, just like life, right? And it's like, you can't fucking go live and pretend to be some super happy, positive person all the time, put on that show when you know for a fact that like you're just not in that space. And I think it's really interesting how streaming, it does feel like you're kind of forced to do that as an inherent thing. Whereas I was able to wait until I had found a good time to sit down and go, I'm going to record a video today because this video does have to be a bit positive, does have to be that. But it's at the same time, it's like, you just don't have the same option if you're full-time streaming.
No.
100%. And that's like your biggest sort of like decision maker. It's like, okay, do you force yourself to go live because you have to keep to your schedule, you have people that are expecting to see you, or do you just take that stream off because you just can't get yourself in that headspace? You're just unable to put the mask on, which again is not healthy. But like that's literally, and I'm sure like Reapz, you'd like feel that a lot too, where it's like, you know, it's like on one hand, I push through and I give people, I put on like maybe a subpar like experience from the stream. And then, you know, people may look at me differently, or they might go, oh, he's just, you know, he's not as great today. Or on the other hand, you just cancel, which is disappointing to the people that wanted to watch you. But at the end of the day, they're not seeing you in that bad light. Yeah. Just like, you know, so that, you can kind of give people the confidence that if you are going to be live, it will be what they expect. It will be sort of, you're bringing that energy and that positivity instead of just not being in the headspace to do it.
It's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to juggle. I think a lot of people out there deal with it, especially when you are a new streamer. You don't get those views. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to get people to watch you. We know, we've talked about it. Discoverability is nothing. But what I would like to talk about is we talked about all the YouTubers that influenced us, right? In terms of like what makes us want to do content creation. And I think it'll be good if we talk about...
I didn't actually say mine. Hold on. I want to say mine. I didn't actually say mine. I just talked about...
I thought you said Yogscast.
No, I just said they were the first ones I watched.
Okay.
I don't make content like them whatsoever, but they're just the first ones I watched. I think the ones who actually influence the type of content I create, because like obviously I've watched a lot of people, but the people who I was like, I want to make content like that was Ludwig, Alpha Rad, and Point Crow. Yeah. Now I know people are going to think, what about Small Ant? Not really, to be honest. I think Small Ant makes good challenges, but I don't think he has a lot of personality that he puts into the challenges. And that's not an insult, but I think everyone can agree that if you watch like a Point Crow or an Alpha Rad video, it's like, yes, they're doing a challenge in a Nintendo style game. Yeah. But they're so heavily focused on the personality and the jokes. But I think Small Ant is pretty much just, here is the challenge. I'm going to be a pro at this. I'm going to do it. Yeah. And so for me, the Ludwig, Alpha Rad, and the Point Crow are the ones who actually kicked me from, I like watching content to I want to make content.
Gotcha.
Anyway, sorry.
Ever since I started watching Point Crow, like it's just so enjoyable to watch him because he was just having fun doing like whatever he was doing. Like I watched his video on this Pokemon open world game that like a fan made game, and it was just so much fun. Like it was just so much cool to watch, and that like watching like a video of his is like I kind of get what you're saying, where it's like just the way that he does it, and because it's very similar to the type of content that we like to make, it invokes that feeling. But obviously, I only just discovered Point Crow personally, like basically from like the start of the year, essentially. So it was very late, but. Yeah.
I think a big thing for me is that I'm very aware of the fact that when I was younger, I watched a lot of content creators and I had an inkling that I wanted to create content, but I also was very much aware that I didn't want to make content like those people I watched. Like I didn't want to make content like the Yogscast or like Rooster Teeth or any of those things, right? I wanted to create something different. I wasn't sure what I felt like creating yet, which is why I went into film and media to learn skills and figure it out rather than just trying to dive in. It took me a long time, and it wasn't until much later when I saw people like those ones I mentioned when I actually realized what type of content I wanted to make. I think that's really interesting because I think a lot of people see content creators they love and they go, I want to create, but they don't realize that they don't actually want to do what their favorite creators are doing. They just like watching that. They don't necessarily want to do that.
Yeah.
And I think I'm very self-aware in the sense that sometimes I make something or sometimes I do something and I'm like, no, I didn't actually like that. I didn't want to actually do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it's really important because if you don't like a process or you don't want to do a process and you're just doing it because you thought it was a good idea and might help you grow, or you're just doing it because you saw bigger creators do it and you thought that's sweet, then you're probably not going to see many results. You know what I mean? It's when you're actually having fun and enjoying yourself and being yourself that you'll start to see results, I find. And so, I don't know. I'm very aware of how much content I've absorbed and how much people have inspired me, but also how little I want to do Yogs or RT or anything like that. Like, I would never.
I think that's an easy, it's an easy trap to fall in because, and I mean, I fell into that same trap where I watched, Mark Lawrence Jacksepticeye, and then when I started to, try things, that was the first few videos I made was like a let's play styled thing. But then without realizing it very quickly, I actually I shifted. Like I did sort of the like a more sort of hypercut like Hotline Miami video. And then I did like this how to play Minecraft skit, which is like this parody thing. So it's like without realizing it, I was already shifting to things that I was more interested in rather than just kind of sitting there and playing the game and just talking whatever. It's like bringing more to it. But I think a lot of people don't, like, they just end up sticking to that same thing. It's like they get influenced by a Let's Player, so they just make Let's Play content. Or they get influenced by a certain person, so they're trying to make that exact content and not realizing what fit, like they're not experimenting to find out what fits them the best.
Yeah, what there is. And I've said this for a long time to people. It's like, why would someone want to watch you pretending to be someone else when they could just go watch that person make better content?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be able to make better content than Mr. Beast. You can pretend to be him, or no one's like, it's like, it's one of the things, like, I was inspired a lot by Alpharad for a few videos that I've been doing recently, or like Wolfie VGC. But I was very careful to make sure that when being inspired them, I wasn't going to make content like them, because I'm no fucking Wolfie VGC who's like one of the pro world champions of Pokemon, right? Like, he's ranking all this stuff and talking about the stats and things like that. Whereas I'm ranking Pokemon by being like, would I want to have sex with this Pokemon? No, I wouldn't. Rank B, Charmander, he's cute, but he's overrated, Like, I'm ranking it based off me and who I am as a person, and I'm not just doing that, which has been hilarious because I uploaded a couple shorts of it, and the comments for the shorts on the Squirtle one is funny because the Squirtle one, I say he wears sunglasses, he used to have his own street gang, and then he became a firefighter, and I show the clips of it. And it's really funny because people see at the end, they see that the Bulbasaur has already been ranked. And they can see as I rank Squirtle, Bulbasaur's below him in B tier and Squirtle got A tier. And people commenting, why is Squirtle being put in A tier when Bulbasaur is in B? Bulbasaur is a better pick if you're trying to do a hardcore competitive run because it's better on the first 3 gyms. And I have to be like, my brother in Christ, I was talking about sunglasses and firefighting. Like, do you think I'm doing that? Like, specifically also, if you watch the short where I rank Bulbasaur, I say because he's so easy that it's boring, and that's why I'm not giving him A, right?
Yeah.
But it's so interesting. So I think a lot of people, they see someone, they get inspired, and then they just kind of make that person's content, but worse.
Yeah.
And it's like being self-aware of who's inspired you, but also being your own creator, I think is a big reason as to why you grow. And I think A person who I really respect is Iona. Iona really found her own footing and niche and figured out how to talk and how she wanted to do it. And that's one of the reasons that she's been so successful. Is she has a very honest and unique voice that fits her and her content and doesn't sound like other people on the internet right now. And I think that's a big thing that people struggle with.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Adding your own personality is such a big thing because it's the only thing that'll separate you. If you give everyone the same script and they all say it in the same kind of way, then there's no real differentiation in terms of what makes that video special. But if you give it to someone else and goes like, here's a bullet point instead of an actual script, make something around this, you're going to see obviously a lot of divergent content and you're going to gravitate to one more than the other. And I think you've got to also give yourself that confidence that when you first start with content creation, finding your footing is the hardest thing to do. I think we can all agree. Like actually getting to be known, getting people to watch you is so fucking hard, right? But the thing is, you have to put yourself out there and actually do it, right? Otherwise, you won't learn. And people think that, oh, because I didn't get the views, I'm a failure. And you're not a failure. The fact that you're putting yourself out there and learning from what you're doing is what's going to make you a success in the long run, right? And I think it'll be good as well in terms of like, we know all the big YouTube content creators. Like I would say that we know a majority of them that are there. Mr. Beast, we can say Markiplier, we can say that. Are there any YouTube creators at the moment who you think are on the come up that are kind of like, this is the future, or this is kind of what inspires me at the moment?
I'm not sure about up and coming. I know there are a few creators who I think are the next wave who have come after, say, because I think there are kind of like generations and waves of YouTubers. And I think, there someone like Ambiguous Amphibian or Iron Mouse is probably a next wave creator in the sense that they came kind of after the Point Crow, or they came kind of after the Small Ant generation, because it was kind of like weird, right? Like if you go through the generations, you kind of see the YouTube evolve. And I think people like Ambiguous Amphibian really inspire me because I think he takes the formula that Small Ant and Point Crow kind of helped create and really hones it in to be like a masterpiece. In the sense that like Point Crow and Smant will just make a video, they'll do a challenge, and then they'll tell the story throughout the video.
Yep.
But I feel like Ambiguous Amphibian will be like, I did my playthrough, I've written my script, but as I did my playthrough, similar to what I said about Abroad in Japan, I spent time taking away to get shots, proper shots in the game of characters, close-ups and things, and someone's death slowly and this and that, and carefully doing it. Like, he will go out of his way to very, very carefully make sure that he's filmed the whole thing in a way that almost turns it into a cinematic Let's Play.
I was about to say cinematic, the exact word.
Yeah,
it sounds
he does.
very cinematic, yeah.
He treats it like a cinematographer, and he treats his music like cinematography. Like an actual director would treat it, and he treats his story and his effects. Someone dies, it slowly fades into black and white. The letterbox moves in as it comes in close.
Yeah.
The like nostalgic, sad Sims music starts playing from when someone dies, and it's really well done, right? And one of the reasons he originally blew up was he started doing this on his Project Zomboid videos.
Okay.
But he then took all of it to the next level by adding a lot of like almost philosophy. That like it'd be like in Project Zomboid, he'd like get to a part where he's really steady and stable. And then he'd come up with like, he'd start quoting some giant philosopher and all this stuff really emotively and have all this beautiful cinematic behind it. And then essentially wrap it by saying, all that is to say, I got hella bored. And then it's such well-crafted content. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, he puts so much time, so much energy and care into something that you can just really tell he loves it. He loves doing it, and he loves what he's doing. And I think that's one of the reasons he really blew the fuck up.
Yeah.
I need to start watching some of his videos because I haven't had the chance to sit down and watch any.
Well, I think he's more of a niche creator as well, because he does do sim games. So he does like Project Zomboid, or he started in Project Zomboid, Kenshi, Rimworld, and then he moved into more casual sim games and stuff like that, like Roller Coaster Tycoon and The Sims and stuff. But I think I do believe that I honestly believe that he's one of the best content creators on the platform right now. And I think people should stop looking at some of the largest creators on the platform for inspiration, because the Mr. Beastification of the internet's kind of shit at the moment, and people are kind of getting sick of it. Not Mr. Beast, but they're getting sick of the mimicry of it.
Yeah. The fact that you said Kenshi has me interested now, because thanks to Lido at PAX, he went on a half an hour drunk rant selling me on Kenshi. and how like the kind of game that it is. And after the end of it, I was like, this is you know what, I need to give this a shot. This sounds incredible. So I actually keen to watch this video.
He did a playthrough. If you want to watch Kenshi by Ambiguous Amphibian, it's one of his not oldest, but it's one of his old playthroughs before he started doing singular videos. He did like actual playthroughs where he made it so his character started no legs, no arms. It was a torso. That's it. He was a torso in the desert and he had to try and survive, right? And it is one of the most... It is. You can do... Kenshi is amazing, right?
Far out.
So he starts in the desert of Kenshi, no legs, no arms. It's called like Torsolo, and it's one of the first ones to blow up. If you like Google, sorry, if you go to YouTube and you type in Kenshi torso only, you can see his will be the first one, right? And the thumbnail of it is so good. If you guys are seeing this thumbnail, right? Reapz, can you edit this on screen?
Yeah, sure. Kenshi, what is it called?
Kenshi torso only. So
Oh my gosh.
Kenshi. The thumbnail is so good, right?
Oh my God,
It is a desert. It is the guy. He's put a lens flare and the word torso in big, nice, bold letters. Like, it is literally the best anything at all. And it is one of the most amazing playthroughs of all time as well. Where he's just like, because you're going to die and he has to get lucky at the start. And he does get lucky. A bunch of slave traders walk through, pick him up, and he gets to a town that way.
What is this game?
Reapz, this game is like bonkers, batshit insane. Like the stuff that Lito was telling me, he's like, look, I know this is hard to believe, but you can do these crazy stuff. Like he's like skinning people and just all sorts of stuff.
Imagine it this way, right?
Okay.
Big desert world with like a couple like swamps and a few other biomes, but like you big desert world kind of thing.
Yeah.
Lots of different warring factions.
Okay.
You can pick your start, kind of like a D&D style thing, and then imagine it's like almost third person overworld look down as you can zoom right in and stuff, like with combat and everything, Skyrim-esque, like stealing and pickpocketing, joining factions, murdering the king of a faction, taking over it, doing quests, being a bounty hunter, whatever you want.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
It is so in-depth. It's amazing. And I reckon the best way to get introduced to the Kenshi experience is to watch Ambiguous Amphibian do it as a torso.
It does look very in-depth. I'm just looking at some of the screenshots and there's a lot of like sub menus and things like that in terms of how you do stuff. But that sounds interesting. I was going to say is I recently stumbled upon, through recommended on YouTube, so I was watching a streamer / YouTuber called Soup, and he's like a speedrunner of Resident Evil games. So I was getting a lot of recommended Resident Evil stuff. And then there was this YouTuber who's very new, but his name is Snamwidges, S-N-A-M Widges, right? And he has been popping off in terms of, we talked about narrative-based content, right? And he's like new to Twitch and YouTube, but he's getting like hundreds of thousands of views on his videos. He's only done about like 10 of them all up, right? But he is really excelling at it in terms of he's now got like 60,000 subscribers through doing those 10 videos. And you look at his Twitch tracker and you can see that the rise in viewers that he's getting and followers is completely correlated to what popped off on YouTube. And he's an engineering student, like very new to the game in terms of that. But he's created these great narratives where he's gone after these achievements or his own kind of like, challenges and making them in such a way that it is very narrative focused. They go for 10 minutes to 20 minutes to 30 minutes, some of them. And you can see that he's really enjoying the process. And I want to give a shout out because people are asking like, oh, how can I do this with nothing? And you look at it and he only had about like 4 or 5 people watching him. He then uploaded that YouTube about Resident Evil 2, about other things. And you see he's now up to the hundreds of people watching him as well as subscribers on YouTube. And he's doing really well for himself. So again, learning from Eljay in terms of how he started to now Snamwidges, how he's doing it. I can definitely see that there is a correlation that can be done in discoverability to other social platforms, and YouTube, again, seems to be key and paramount to how you do that. So check him out. It'll be my recommendation, Recce of the week or whatever it is.
No, sounds good. No. Here's the thing: how to start streaming in 2023. Okay, here's the big game plan. You pay for Twitter Blue. And then you just post all your go lives and leave them there so they get pushed up in the algorithm so everyone knows you're live.
And
That's
post
it.
your go lives on other people's threads as well. Like
Yes.
any celebrity, do a go live in the reply comment and just be sure that you pay those $7 a month. And that's an easy win in your book.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
All
that's
right.
what I would say.
Well, shall we look at the comment for this week, lads?
Oh yes. Do we have a question of the week?
We've got heaps of stuff. I want to give a few shout outs though to a few of our comments in particular. Let me just pull them up. We've had some lovely people. 2 weeks ago, obviously, we have had a lot of lovely people as well, which we didn't really get to talk about last week, but lots of people laughing at our, well, mainly my rant about Gary Vee. But a lot of people doing great. But also we've had a bunch of people coming back and being like, hey, we feel ya. I'm doing mostly offline recordings now, and I feel way more confident when I do my offline recordings. Thank you guys for talking about shorts. A lot of people being like, I was struggling with shorts, watched this podcast, realized I wasn't actually making shorts. I was just converting clips, and now I'm seeing views because I'm putting effort in.
Yep.
Which is great. Great to see people are like getting a little bit of a wake-up call from us. Some people asking us if we'll go to PAX East, and I just said, look, if we get giant, which probably won't.
Yeah.
But you never know. And a lot of people just say lots of really interesting discussions and conversations being done. So I really do appreciate all the commenters. I go through them all, reply to almost everyone, or at least like and give you little hearts if I've read them, and do me best to go through them. But we do have a question.
Let's hear it. Question master.
Essentially, it's a little bit of a big one. So I'm going to do my best to summarize it down. Okay. It's from Alt Tab Horror, and it was they were talking about the fact that firstly they were talking about the fact that they couldn't believe that Nick's background wasn't real, and that's just another good little compliment for you, Nick. There.
Thank you very much.
Another person saying that Reapz should look into a game called Cooking Companions on Steam. It's really fun and it has a twist. So there's one for you, Reapsy.
Cooking Companions.
The question was, yeah. But the question was, when pursuing content creation, putting your whole self into it, when do you know if it's just not for you and you should stop? Do any of y'all have any nerdy tattoos as well that you'd be comfortable sharing? And have any of you guys played D&D, or you're interested in playing D&D at all? So I reckon let's kick it off first with the how do you know if it's not for you and you're putting your whole self into it?
Ooh, okay. I guess to start off with, like knowing if it's not for you, like there's a couple things. Obviously, there's different types of content creation. So it's like, you got people who are only making content on one particular platform, like only on TikTok or things like that. But I mean, I think it comes down to what are your intentions? Like, what was your initial sort of drive and motivation to get you to start making the content in the first place? And like we were saying, like previously as well, like, do you enjoy the process? Like, if you genuinely making content is like any type of pre-recorded content requires some work. Like going live, like, you can click a button, you can buy a stream package and you go, right? But then but there's so much more to it, as we've discussed many times. So like it really comes down to just, do you enjoy the process, and are you are you going to give it time and put the work in, or are you going to be so obsessed with like numbers even at the very beginning that it's going to overtake you? So like I think it just that's sort of a big thing for that. It comes down to is the process, and if you actually enjoy it, like we've suffered burnout before, and sometimes you need to take a break and you need to get back to it. But if your core, like if you kind of look inside and you think like I'm genuinely just, am I forcing myself through this, or am I genuinely enjoying it? Like I think that's it's a really like tough thing to happen, like especially like with Eljay, like sort of taking the step away from streaming like that. It's still like a big decision. That's the same thing of whether you decide content creation is for you or it isn't. Is you kind of have, maybe you want it to be, but deep down you know that you don't really enjoy the process, and that it is a lot of work and maybe a bit more work than you're expecting, and it just doesn't fit with where you are in your life or your current lifestyle and what you have going on. There's a lot of factors, but I think you have to be really, really honest with yourself.
I think adding to that, what we said earlier about the fact that being aware of whether or not you want to make content or whether or not you're just doing it because you like watching content is a big thing. But I think, and maybe it's a bad take, I'm okay with it being a bad take because I think it sometimes opens good conversation. If you have to ask, it probably means it might not be, right? So the reason I say that is because if you have to ask, it usually means that the metrics that give you enjoyment are not giving you any enjoyment. Because when I make a video and I release a video, even if it gets 50 views, 100 views, I might be a little bit disappointed by it. But nowadays, when I'm editing them myself, I still love the video. And I still loved making it, and I still loved watching it back. Like, I have edited the last 3 videos on the Eljay channel myself, right? I set up Perceptor with my editor so I could learn myself and do it myself and practice myself. And I can watch any of those 3 videos back in full without 2 times speeding it.
Mm-hmm.
I legitimately, like, I am becoming my own biggest fan again, which is an amazing feeling. Like, I don't have to speed up at all when I watch them back. And that's how I know that this is for me. And I do love creation. And I do like those processes. But if I was just uploading them to get views, then I would probably feel like it wasn't for me because they're only getting, 100 to 300 to 400 views when I upload each week, which is also way more than what I was getting a few weeks ago, right? Which is funny. But at the same time, I don't know. I think the really hard part is the problem with this question, not with you asking it. The problem that when people ask this question is I think a lot of the time they already know, right? They already know if it's for them. And I will say, I think that there's a terrible mindset that a lot of people have fallen into because of content creation, that they think content creation and YouTubing and being an influencer is the be all and end all now. And the reality is it's really not, right? And we can say that easily because, yeah, we're in it right now. But the truth is, there are a lot of ways to have a very fulfilling, fun life and do things and stuff like that and enjoy yourself. And you don't have to be a content creator and an influencer. And sometimes you might actually be better off chasing a different passion and just enjoying content, right? And just or stuff like that. And I think at its core, you will know if it's for you, right? If you can upload a video and get no views on it, but still be like, I loved making that video, well, then it's probably for you. But if you upload a video and you're like, I hated making that, I hated doing that, and I got no views on it, that sucks. Well, it might not be for you, or you might be making the wrong type of content, right? That isn't there, right? I had to say to someone earlier this week in the Stream Scheme Discord, lovely guy, it's called Ono. He was asking about getting a niche and how he just honestly couldn't think of a niche that he wanted to do and asking for help. And I had to be like, look, no one can tell you what niche you should do, right? Like that's an intrinsic thing. You have to discover for yourself what you love doing. And until you discover that, you're probably always going to struggle with enjoying the process. You got to really have to find that. Like I've struggled to find it until I made a couple Pokemon videos and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I've got hundreds of hours streaming Pokemon games, but it just doesn't, my content doesn't work on stream when I do these things. So I stopped doing what I loved. But this is a new way for me to get back into doing what I loved, right? Kind of similar to Nick finding his Yu-Gi-Oh content was kind of what he loved doing again. And these are niches that we have always enjoyed, always loved, and we've discovered them again and gone from there, right? And that'll make things easier for you. But I had to say to him, because he couldn't think of anything that he wanted to focus on or what he wanted to do, even with the whole, like, what could you talk about for 15 minutes without any preparation? You know what I mean? And I had to say, look, please don't take this the wrong way. I don't want an answer from you. This is just so you can be introspective. Honestly ask yourself, do you want to be a content creator? Do you like the process? Or have you just sunk so much time into it now that you feel like you have to keep going? Because as someone who loves poker, who plays poker weekly, the sunk cost fallacy on every hand is something that happens in everything in your life, right? You spend so much time, you bet so many chips on it, you do all that stuff that it's hard to walk away from. But sometimes the best thing for you is to walk away. And I think honestly, if I didn't play poker every week, I probably wouldn't have walked away from streaming. But I walked away from streaming because I also understand that just because you've sunk a lot of time into something doesn't mean it's the best thing for you. It doesn't mean what you enjoy doing. So to wrap up a very long reply to this is that essentially, I think that you will know intrinsically yourself. It's just very hard to admit if you know or not. But hopefully that is a good enough answer from my end. But I think that I'm not the honest to God truth on all of this. I don't know, Reapzy?
I would say, what is your definition of a content creator? First off, to the person asking, is your definition somebody who has to direct, edit, write, perform, everything like that? Because that is a content creator. You're doing everything, right? There's actors, there's writers, there's editors, there's different variations within content creation that you may find yourself more impassioned with. You really love editing, but you hate goddamn having to do the production of it. Maybe look into something that's more editing focused. You like being in front of the camera, but don't like having to obviously do all the setup there. Well, try and find different avenues that you can do. Maybe get someone to film for you, a friend or something, or hire somebody to edit it. That may be a different variation, because I think we all agree that in content creation, when you have to do everything, there's bits that you're not going to like as much as other bits, right? But when you see the whole thing finished all together, if you don't get a sense of pride from that, then probably content creation isn't for you overall. Because
that's a good point.
Yeah. What is it then, really? So I guess if you look at it that way, that's my scope of looking at it. There are things that I hate. I have to do, no, I'm not going to say the brand name, but I've got to do a video for a brand, right? And I'm not looking forward to it because it's nothing I care about. You know, it's just kind of like, I got to hit these notes. And I'm just like,
yeah, but I'm paying, so you got to talk about me.
Yeah.
okay. Listen, I didn't want to bring up the Eljay brand that's going to be $6.99 a month to get a blue check mark next to Eljay's name. But it's that thing of like, if you create an idea and you follow through with that idea and you see it to fruition and you get that sense of what Eljay and Nick were talking about, you put it out there and you're like, fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, I did that. People aren't watching it, but hey, in the background, once something pops off in the future, they can have a look at it and see how well I was doing in the past to learn all these skills. And fuck yeah,
and
man.
Are you excited for the next one?
Yeah.
You're like, this is giving me, now I want to do this other thing.
Yeah.
Now. You know what I mean?
You learn so much. You learn a new technique or a new way to do something, and you're like, "Fuck! Oh my god, let's go!"
I want to show this to people. I can't wait till they see this and see how they respond.
That right there, because Buzzer said that to me, and that changed my entire thing. I asked Buzzer, I said, "What do you think is a successful content creator?" And he said, "I think you've been successful as a content creator if you feel excited to show what you just made to someone." And that like fucking broke my brain because then it was like, and like the stuff I'm making now, I have to actively stop myself from spamming my friends with it because like I want to be like, I'll finish a short or like I'll upload a video and I'm like, oh, I want to send this to the stream room guys and be like, guys, check it out, check this video out. But I'm like, but I shouldn't because Reapz doesn't care about Pokemon and I don't want to bother people, so it's fine, right? But I'm like, dude, I'm like so excited to like show people, be like, did you see this? Or like, I'm like, oh, dude, my Gengar short, I updated all this stuff and I did all these things, but I'll just show them the analytics. Yeah. But like, I'm so excited to show people now, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, okay, I finished a video, but I just released a video. I got to wait 7 days and I'll start working on the next one. But I really want to show people this video. It's like, what you know, like
I'm in that moment right now. I'm on the tail end of finishing this review of the new Logitech mice, and like that's the feeling I have right now. Like it's almost complete. I've done a lot of like little good stuff. Like it feels like a good video, and I'm just like I can't wait. Like it's turning out so good. It looks really good. I've managed to like add in a few jokes. I have like a Sesame Street bit in there, and it's like it's great. Like I can't wait.
Yeah. And I guess that's it. In terms of what I just said, if you're excited for it, if there's certain parts that you kind of are more excited for, maybe focus on those. Because if that's what keeps you going and you enjoy doing it, then do it. But if you have that thing of, as Eljay was saying, if everything's a chore and it's just kind of like, oh, okay, I did it. I got it off the checklist. I don't have to worry about it for another week or so. Then, yeah, I mean, and a really good point there was that because you consume media or you want to create media, it doesn't mean that it's right for you. And that doesn't make you any less of a creative soul, right? Because there's different avenues that you can take to be creative. And it doesn't just have to be putting something out on YouTube or TikTok or anything like that. It's things behind the scenes that go unnoticed, but people who are in the know, like the most, as we all know, if you've ever worked in TV or film, script writers get no fucking credit, dude. They create the whole skeleton, they do everything, and they get so poorly paid. But they've created this whole story for you to wrap your little head around, and again, rewrites and everything like that. But really find out what you enjoy, and it's okay to say no, this isn't for me. And you know what? You may change your mind to actually really loving it down the track. I find that in life, everything is very like, I really like this at the moment. No, I really like this at the moment. And it's okay to go back and forth. Maybe it's not right for you now. Maybe it's right for you in the future. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's really solid. Second one, real quick. Do you guys have any nerdy tattoos that you'd be willing and comfy to share with the people of the stream room?
Ooh, I'm going to go first because it's very
go
bland.
first?
No,
okay.
I've got no tattoos.
Go first? Okay. I have two tattoos. One of them isn't nerdy, but this one...
Okay.
All right. Hopefully that...
Nick, stop spreading your ass.
Yeah. Listen, you've got to see it.
Man.
That's cool, dude.
So
That's sick.
There's a little bit of backstory behind this one. So basically, I think this was about 2 to 3 years ago. it was my second or third fundraiser, and this was for the Starlight Children's Foundation, which for those who are not from Australia, Starlight does amazing stuff for sick kids in hospitals. And so one of the stretch goals was if we hit $1,000, I would get a Waluigi themed tattoo.
Oh my
And
God.
then there was another stretch goal. If we hit $1,500, I would live stream it, which is what we did. So we found a local guy. He's got like the nerdiest tattoo parlor you've ever seen. And so we live streamed it in there. And so I had someone help me with the design. So we turned, for the audio listeners, imagine a bullet bill from Mario, but it's Waluigi-fied. So it's got the little Waluigi hat and the mustache and the nose. And then the actual bullet part of the bill is molded off the red Starlight rocket logo, which is a red rocket with a little golden star. So the bullet bill's been turned into that, and then the flames coming out of the bullet bill say "wah." So that's all I got.
That's so cool. I love it.
That's pretty sick.
Eljay.
I set a rule for myself.
Okay.
That the very first tattoo I would get was this hand-drawn crown. It's a similar style to the Kingdom Hearts crown. And I set a rule for myself that I would do that when I met two goals. When I was 80 kilos was one of them consistently. And that I had a channel that I had built from personality and gaming and passion and stuff like that. That was established and growing and consistently. It was originally going to be 80 kilos and 100,000 subs. But when Stream Scheme reached it, I was like, I love marketing. I love content creation, but I don't feel like I have done what I don't feel like it's the same. Okay. And a lot of people asked me this. They were like, you got 100K, you got the plaque that's up there or over there. How do you feel? And I was like, I don't really feel much, to be honest. Same as when I got the partner badge, doesn't really feel like much. But I feel like if I was able to make more content that specifically made people laugh, which is kind of what I feel like I'm doing now. So when that's up and running and pumping, and when I'm 80 kilos, which is what my doctor has said is my healthy weight, that'll be what I get, like the Kingdom Hearts crown, which has just been something. You ever like have a concept of you'd never get a tattoo unless you're very confident that's going to be something you're going to want for the whole of your life? Mm-hmm. This is the tattoo, has had different rules and different concepts and stuff like that. But I've always wanted it since I was like 16. I've always wanted this exact one, just a small crown on my wrist. Never have I changed my mind about that. People ask me, I go, yeah, I want this one, right? It's never been a doubt in my mind. But I wanted to make sure I set a good rule for myself of when I feel like I'm appropriate to get it. Okay. You know what I mean? Which is healthy body, healthy mindset, and feeling fulfilled in the creativity that I'm doing. That'll be the goal for the first one. And I think it's a nice thing that I've always had in the back of my mind.
And then it acts as that reminder as well of what you achieved to do that.
Exactly, right? And it's always kind of like there, right? And it's seen as like originally when I thought it up, it was supposed to like be a reminder to be like, to deal with anxiety, to be like, this is like the crown, right? Like you're good. You can do this, right? And that was a big part of the Royals early on, which I don't think people will even remember, which is inherently a problem with streaming. I've talked about it a lot, that people don't remember the original start of things. But the original start of things with the crowns and the Royals and stuff like that on my stream was to remind people that they're important, right? It was always been a big thing for me. Like, how do you remind yourself you're important when your intrusive thoughts are tearing you down at all times? Which is something I struggle with horrendously, is like you're sitting there and you're trying to be live, and it's the little words, like spoken words in the back of your head.
Yeah.
And the crowns and stuff was something that a motif that I found for myself and gave meaning for myself to always remind me, you are important. You know, you're not what you think you are, you know, and that was a part of how the Royals started. And yeah, it's always been something important to me. And the idea of hitting these goals, which I'm actually quite close. I'm 85 kilos at the moment. I'm working my way down to 80, but to get to 80, I've really either got to cut a lot of stuff out of my life or start this PT training, which I am doing. And then the Eljay channel will be a big part of that, which is why I'm so excited about the content, because I'm actually really enjoying it. But yeah, that's my nerdy tattoo that I'm going to be getting, a Kingdom Hearts, very simple silhouetted black crown, just to remind myself of, you know, you're important, you're doing good things, and here's the health and stuff you've done.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Very good.
And then the final one, have you guys ever played D&D, or are you interested in playing? I know Nick has.
Yes.
Nick loves it.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, I played a few times, and then most recently, which is on a hiatus at the moment, was doing a D&D campaign with Lucky Bones, Jordan Rasco, the Monolith, and Puppy Eric, which was a great D&D campaign. Everyone was really enjoying it. You can go to Jordan's YouTube channel if you want to see the episodes we've done. But we've all been so busy that we haven't been able to tee up another time.
It's tough, man. D&D dies at the hands of scheduling.
Yeah.
It does.
Everyone says the big bad is whoever you fight at the end of the campaign. No, the big bad is the calendar.
Yeah.
Not true words have been spoken.
No, I've played a little bit of, and I'm gonna get fucking roasted for this probably in the comment section by people who like D&D. I played D&D 5e, and I played that a little bit, only like 2-3 rounds of one campaign years ago, and then our scheduling fell apart. And then anytime I talk to people who love D&D, they're like, "You playing 5? No, you play 3. All right." I'm like,
everyone I know has played 5. Like,
it's one of the easiest ones to get into, but like the gatekeepers will try push you to like 3 or 3.5 and stuff like that.
Right.
But at least that's from what I've had. But I love watching one-shot D&D campaigns.
yes,
Because I've never been able to go play it myself. So I have 2 ways that I get my like into my veins of D&D. Well, you can't, because I literally just cannot find time to play.
Yeah.
So instead, the 2 ways I do it is I watch campaigns like the Yogscast do one-shots, where they do like 5-6 episodes where they like run through a sort of like a role-play D&D campaign, or like a Call of Cthulhu, which I think falls as a subclass under D&D. And those, I love those. Or the second way I do it, Divinity and Baldur's Gate. Oh, boy, give me Baldur's Gate to my veins. I have had so many Baldur's Gate 3 saves ruined by their patches, and I still go back to keep playing, even though it's not fully released and the patches are going to fuck my saves, because I am obsessed with the fucking D&D, but without having to schedule things, and all the rolling is done there, and it's all so perfectly built. Oh,
I can't wait. Like, I have that game like owned in my Steam library, and yeah, I'm just waiting for just the game to be more like fleshed out, more updates, because like I get frustrated when I lose saves and stuff.
Dude, it's hella fleshed out. It's just they keep adding like, oh, we're gonna add a whole new class. Everyone loses their save.
Oh.
It's like, but I want to play a druid, so I have to do it. right?
I have Divinity Original Sin 2, and I've really wanted to play that as well.
Divinity Original Sin 2 is fucking amazing. Like, legitimately, it is amazing. I think I've told you guys this story a lot, but during Christmas, back when I was like hella unemployed, this is before I was a content creator, it was around Christmas time, and all of my contracts had dried up. I had nothing going on. So instead, I would take and I was working on a Mac because I was just a filmmaker, and so like, I only play like a few games. And I had a PlayStation, but you couldn't play Divinity on Mac or on PlayStation. So I had a Divinity Original Sin 2 that I'd bought, couldn't play, and I'd grab my wife's laptop, so Claire, she's girlfriend at the time, go out into the living room, because the only time I could play it was she didn't have it, go out to the living room, and I would sit there and I would watch the Jingle Jam live. I was watching the Jingle Jam, the Yogscast Jingle Jam live, while I played Divinity Original Sin 2, and I had a character called Gon, who was based off Hunter x Hunter.
Yes.
And what I did was I made him, I maxed out full summoner. So I had like a summoner build, which is weird for Gon, but it was originally going to be a punch build. So all Gon did was cock those fists and had like monk level, like empowered fucking punches, while he had this big demon that he would summon and do things for him. So he'd run around punching people while he'd summon like demons. And the thing about D2 that's so amazing with summons is that, the thing about all D and all Baldur's is that they've built the mechanics into the game similar to D&D of like, the floor actually can have environmental effects on the gameplay. So say you're standing in water, if someone hits you in electric, it'll do more damage or it'll stun you. Or the water will become electrified water for a few turns, and it's amazing. But one of the things about the summoning mechanics in D2 was if you summon the imp, which is what it was called, in water, he comes with a special move, which is he heals people, right? So, and when he punches people, he does magic damage rather than physical damage. But if you summon him in a pile of blood, he becomes a blood imp, which means he can do a bleed and he does physical damage. It's so cool. And like, obviously people have magic shields and they've got armor that you have to beat through. So depending on where you summon him, he does more damage to this and that. Literally, D2, one of the best games ever made. And now that I'm talking about it, you know what I'm going to do? Now that I don't stream, I'm going to go back and keep playing it.
I really want to play it, and I want to play it first. So it's like, but it seems like one of those games where, because it's so role play heavy, there's so many things that you can do. Like, you could really sort of craft like a little story. Like, you could make a little piece of content, or like maybe, I mean, obviously, you know, episodic content isn't like done as much anymore. But like, you know what I mean? Like, you could definitely do. You could go in with one goal in mind and then do it.
It's definitely great for like those build video ideas where it's like Divinity Original Sin 2, but I'm One Punch Man. right? And people love that shit. Like they're all about that shit. You could never do, I don't think you could ever do it as like an actual, like I'm going to record and do the voices and read it out and stuff like that because it's just too much.
Yeah.
There's so much to cut out and people would have to watch so many episodes to know what's going on. But those idea of build videos, people love, right? Like Divinity Original Sin 2, but I'm Goku, you know, or I'm the guy from Berserk. Like that shit, people love that shit, which is like, okay, so hey guys, I'm playing the game. I have a giant sword. I one hit people. If they hit me, I literally turn into a barbarian and just murder people, right?
Yeah.
But it's amazing. So I adore D&D. I only got to play it a little bit because of scheduling. And anyone like me who can't schedule things and get into D&D, just find a little bit of time to sit down and play either Divinity Original Sin 2, or if you're okay with losing a save when they do an update because it's still in beta, Baldur's Gate 3 is one of the most amazing. And also because it's D&D based, there's so much humor.
Yeah.
Like literally there's so much humor. In Baldur's Gate 3, when I was playing it the other day, I got up to this camp where there's like goblin camp. And I was like sitting there and I was trying to get in. He's like, I'm not going to let you in. You're not a goblin. You're not a goblin rider. You can't come into this camp. And I'm like, well, I got to get into the camp. I got to murder them all. But if I know I can't fight these guys because they're higher level on purpose. And he's like, I'll only let you in if you smear this on its face. And he smacks his dog rider or wolf rider next to him. And the wolf takes a shit on the ground. And it's like, chooses the option. Insult him, smear shit on the ground, throw shit in his face. And I'm like, all right. And I smear shit on my face. And the goblin's like, I'm not letting you in, but you look like an idiot. I'm like,
That's so good. Is there like
so much like,
is there any like
good humor.
how much RNG is there? Like
it's all dice rolls.
Oh, it's like,
all dice. All of the combat, everything is dice roll based. It does a lot. It streamlines it so you don't have to like do it all yourself.
no, like yeah, but like is that interaction would that always be the same interaction or that goblin
No,
interaction?
you can build charisma and stuff, and like and then you roll the charisma dice, right? So like say like you're playing a bard, you build extra in talking and all that stuff, and then obviously you have a higher stat point there, so it's like more likely to do well. Or if you have a shitload of strength, your intimidation checks will be better. You know, and it's all similar to D&D dice roll based. And that's why it is so fun. It's like, oh, I failed the dice roll and I smeared shit on my face.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I meant like it's like if I was to go to that same goblin camp, would the goblin do the same thing and like slap the wolf and?
So again, it depends on your conversation flow.
Right.
There's so many conversations you can go through.
That's right. Okay, that's really cool. That's really cool.
Like you could just instantly intimidate your way through. You could stealth in. That's one other thing about D2 and Baldur's is there's so many routes to finishing every quest. You know what I mean? Like earlier in the thing, there was like a chance where it's like, do you want to kill the druid? It's like, no, I don't want to kill the druid. Okay, well, the druid's attacking you. What do? It's like, you put it to sleep, run away, come back, and he's like, he's not dead. So you can actually do things, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you killed that character 3 islands ago? Well, this is going to make this way harder later because that character is actually like the priestess of this fucking thing, and you need to have her on your side. It's amazing.
That's so cool.
Amazing.
That's really cool.
Cool.
Woo.
Alrighty.
Yes.
I'm gonna go play after this.
He's just so proud of himself. I am gonna need to tee up some time to play it. That just sounds way too fun. Would you recommend playing on my own first before teeing up with friends?
I don't recommend ever playing Divinity or Baldur's Gate with friends. I think it's a terrible game for co-op because there's so many ways to play it and it's never going to line up perfectly. People are going to want to like read all the story, or someone's not going to want to do that, or you're going to want to go left and they're going to go right. And it is a terrible, terrible game for co-op unless there's one other person and you're both very similar play styles. But otherwise, no, you can't.
Okay.
That's maybe about, unless everyone wants to just not read story and go off in their own direction, update people about how they're going. Because otherwise, it's too much.
Yep. No, that's fair. Hey, sounds good. Well,
I think we're dropping frames.
Yes, we are dropping some frames. Boys, it has been a wonderful day, wonderful podcast. Any final comments before we wrap up?
I'm just glad that Twitter has legalized comedy.
Yeah. That's it.
But this is what he said. It's what he tweeted.
Yeah. Reapz.
No, have a lovely week is what I'd say. And I hope that you achieve some of the things you set out for yourself, because sometimes the hardest thing is having a big old list and you're just like, it's too much to do. So I hope if you do, you achieve that. And you know what should be on your list? Like, subscribe, and comment below.
Yes, please comment below. Some questions you'd like to ask us. I think we're probably due for another question-based podcast sometime soon as well. So we'll have to start teeing that up. But it is the start of November, so get used to hearing lots of Christmas music as well, because that whole train is starting. Mariah Carey's come out of her cave, Michael Bublé as well. It's all happening. So
Yeah.
Well, so there's only from recording this, there's only 47 days till Christmas, which means from releasing this, which is like 5-6 days away,
40
there's
days,
41. 40 days till Christmas. 41, yeah.
that's too close. Working retail, I'm not looking forward to it. But boys, thank you so much. Everyone who's watching, thank you all. We're dropping frames. Enjoy the rest of your weeks. Make something fun this week, and we'll see you next one. Have a great one.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Content creation is a wild west, but as all things... Fuck. All right. Oh, my God.
You can't roll with that
Don't
one.
worry,
Can't roll
we
with
got
that one.
bloopers at the end. We
Can't
got
roll with
bloopers
that
at
one.
the end.
Oh, my God. God damn it.